gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. Ask me though how it all turned out when you try to use my name for clout.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine Tuesday? Woo, girl, whatever the day of the week it is, I never do know. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Looks like we're 318 people already. Shout out to y'all. I will be honest with you. I did have to pay my lawyers about $50,000 today. So if you're feeling it in your heart and your soul to donate to the legal fund, it is linked below. All proceeds to the legal fund go directly to my lawyers after, GoFundMe or whatever takes their little percentage. Thank you very much. We'll call this an official fundraiser. If you don't mind, if you could please donate to the legal fund, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so the Diddy jury selection is underway. What do we have here? Got some new members in the chat. Shout out to Jamie Kelly. Shout out to Pretty Kitty Committee. Shout out to you guys for becoming members. Thanks so much. Diamond Rainbow has put the legal fund, linked it in the chat. Okay, so let me bring up. Okay, so let's just take a little inventory here. It is 1:35 p.m. excuse me, on Tuesday, May 6th. Okay, it's the second day of jury selection. Diddy, yesterday, it's not clear to me exactly if they officially picked members of the jury. I don't think they did, but some people seem to believe that they did. Shout out to Travel Buds 710, becoming a member. Welcome to memberships. Hello from Brazil, somebody said. Shout out to Brazil in the chat. Yeah, I mean, it's just y'all. It's just, don't even get me started on it, please don't. But that's just a drop in the bucket. That's just, that's a drop in the bucket. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. So yesterday I covered this. Like I said yesterday a few times, I wasn't planning on originally covering the jury selection part. I don't really have a lot of experience about jury selection, and by not a lot, I mean none. None. When I did practice law for a very short time, I was not in litigation. So I didn't really know if I wanted to cover this, but y'all really seemed to like it yesterday. And so I'm back again today. Yesterday, though, like I said, I did not expect it to go that long. I thought court was over at 5. So there was a few more things that happened. I just want to follow up on. As we sit here right now today on Tuesday, May 6th, they are at lunch on their break right now. Okay, so by the time we wrap up this video today, which I do anticipate it will be a few hours long, just kind of like yesterday, by the time we wrap it up today, I'm hoping that we're going to be caught up to speed so that if you need to go back and watch it, it'll still just be in order. So what happened yesterday? So only a few more things. I did wrap the stream up yesterday myself around 5:15, and I think they were done around 5:45. So not much happened after. Shout out to Katie MB for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Got 4 new members today. Wait a second. Is this okay? Whew. I just had a nightmare flash that my microphone wasn't working for some reason. Okay. All right. So sorry, I get so distracted. Okay. So shout out to Inner City Press, because that's whose tweets I actually did end up reading all day, and that's whose we're going to be reading today. But let me tell y'all what else happened yesterday. I guess we could just I don't really want to go to his thing. So, okay. So yesterday, just to wrap it up, what had happened yesterday, Mark Agnifilo did ask the HBO employee, how many photo people in this guy's job are there at HBO? And he said there's only 5. So that was surprising to me. And then we got a little bit of information about victim 3. Now, if we end up in a situation today where we're clicking between tweets and waiting. I'm going to go and download a new document because there also has been another update. I did want to just let y'all know where we sit, where we stand today. Second day of jury selection, week 1, day 2, Tuesday, May 6th. It's 1:38 p.m. There has been something filed today as well by the assistant U.S. attorneys, by the government, the feds, and the feds are saying something about Mark Garagos, which is, is it Brian Steele or Mark Garagos? Mark Garagos. Saying that maybe it's Brian Steele. Shoot. Okay. Regardless, one of Diddy's lawyers is the government is asking him to be admonished. So as we get through these tweets and as we kind of like catch up with what's kind of going on today, I'm hoping to time it right so that we're not just sitting here spinning the wheel, refreshing, waiting for him to tweet, which I don't want to make it seem in any way, shape, or form like I am complaining, because he is honestly masterful. I have no idea how he even gets all this stuff done. I'm so impressed with him. Matthew Russell Lee from Inner City Press. I did link his Twitter down below if y'all want to go and follow along as I am reading it, or if you just, when I'm not live or whatever, he's always over there tweeting. I mean, he is working hard over there. Okay. So we did get a little more information about victim 3 yesterday, and as you know, victim 3 has come up quite a few times, quite a few different reasons as we have started to approach trial. And it looks like victim 3 might testify or might not. The judge did ask yesterday before court let out. Again, this is just one of the last few things that happened after I got off the live. Thanks so much, Amy K, for the $5 super chat. Greetings from Michigan. I appreciate all your explanations of legal things. Thank you for what you do. You rock. Thank you so much, Amy, for the super chat and for your kind words. So they were saying, the judge was like asking something about victim 3. And then the judge was like to the government, are you expecting victim 3 to testify? And the feds are like, I don't know, which I guess is the right answer. I mean, who knows? And then the judge was like, are you going to bring up victim 3 in your opening statements? And the feds were like, no, we don't plan to right now. So if we ask her to testify, victim 3, then it would be in the second half, whatever that means. So I wanted to update y'all on that. All right. So let's go to Inner City Press's Twitter. And I think just like we should just start from this morning and just start there. I mean, there's going to be no shortage of stuff to be reading and catching up on. So I feel like this is as good a place to start as any. Matthew Russell Lee. Let's see. Takashi 6'9". Interesting. Okay. Anyway, he made a vlog 36 minutes ago, but it may have spoilers, so let's not go to that yet. We will watch it, though. We will watch it. I want to watch it in order. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the very beginning as if, we're just starting from the beginning of the day, even though it is 1:42 p.m. I'm pretty sure I've timed it so where when court actually ends, we're going to be finishing, I think. Okay, so this is 3 hours ago. Inner City Press says, okay, now, U.S. versus Sean Combs, jury selection day 2. After HBO staffer left in jury pool and U.S. asked to admonish Mark Garagos. Okay, so yes, he was asked to admonish Mark Garagos. So we will, if we have time and we, need to do something during this live stream, I will go and download that document. We can read it together here. If not, I'll probably make a separate video on it, the Garagos document. Okay, 3 hours ago. All rise. Oh, I got to get my judge outfit. Okay, I'm on the first day of trial. I'm going to get my judge outfit, aka my law school graduation outfit. The judge says, good morning to everyone. Everyone in the room has already filled out a questionnaire about the case. I'll be asking you additional questions. Some may be about topics difficult to discuss with strangers. Each side has peremptory challenges. And y'all, I did reach out to some of my law school teachers, and I think I might be able to get one or some of them to come and answer some of our questions. Like one of the questions is going to be like, how many peremptory challenges does each side get? And in your expert opinion, what types of reasons would you, I'm going to give them the list of jurors. I'm going to try to bring the law school teachers in here for y'all. Okay. I'm trying. That's the update. Okay. So the judge says some of the stuff, the judge talking to the jury, the judge says some of the stuff that we're going to talk about may be difficult to discuss with strangers. You have received a list of questions, the judge says to the potential jurors. You will be escorted to courtroom 26B and then brought one by one back into the courtroom 26A. So they're in 26A. They're about to shuffle all these jurors out of the courtroom. This is 3 hours ago. We're catching up now. But right now, this very second, they're on lunch break. So nothing's going on right now. Chair. I filmed BJ Investigates. And my chair's too high. Okay. So the judge is talking to the jurors. He says, okay, y'all are all in here in 26A right now. You're about to be shuffled down the hall to 26B. One by one, you're going to be brought back into the courtroom. And then when you get brought back in here, you're going to be shown a list of people and places. If you are not selected, thanks for your service. Okay, let's begin. So they clear out the courtroom and then they bring in juror number 48. Now, I do have a list of these jurors. I'm going to start making it more organized. Just bear with me while I get myself organized the next couple days. But they bring in juror number 48. This juror number 48 reads the people and places on the page. And I guess they're yes or no questions. It's do you recognize? I think the question is, do you recognize anybody or any place on this list? And yesterday we found out some of the names and some of the places on this list. Some of the names included Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers. It appears Michelle Williams. I'm not exactly sure which Michelle Williams that might be. Maybe Destiny's Child, maybe some other Michelle Williams actress. Then Kid Cudi was mentioned. This is off the top of my head. This is from my memory. This is the best of my recollection. There was Dawn Richard, who I do believe is going to testify actually in this case. So this is some of the people. These are some of the people on this list that the potential jurors, the prospective jurors are looking at, and they have to tell the judge, yes, I recognize this place or this person, or no, I don't. If they do, they got to say yes. So the judge is like, okay, do you recognize any of these people? Or places. One of the places that they mentioned, for example, yesterday was the Peninsula Hotel. So this juror, female, number 48, she says yes. The crime victim in question, unfortunately, there was an attempt. I felt like, okay. Girl. Woo. All right. So the judge is like, do you have any yes answers? Okay. On the questionnaire, in addition to the places and the people, they're asking and we took a look at this yesterday as well. The jury questionnaire also asks, have you ever been the victim of a crime? Have you ever been convicted of a crime? Stuff like that. She's saying, I do have a yes answer to being a victim of a crime. Unfortunately, there was an attempted assault toward me. I felt like the cops could have done a lot more, but I was just glad it didn't go further. The judge says, I'm sorry to hear that. Where did it happen? She says it happened in the Bronx. They arrested him, but he had a fake ID and I never got a call back. The judge said, okay, but could you be fair? She's like, it takes a lot of healing. You have to believe in something. Give yourself grace. The judge said, are you in therapy? She said, not now, but I have my own way. He said, on your questionnaire, you wrote, P. Diddy has money. He could buy his way out. What did you mean? She said, just what I wrote. She said on her questionnaire, P. Diddy has money. He can buy his way out. And the judge said, well, what did you mean by that? She said, I meant what I wrote. He has money and can buy his way out. Woo! That's funny. Okay. So the judge excludes juror 48. Okay. She's not going to be a juror. So in comes juror number 61. The judge asks juror 61, who is also a female, your father has received some type of training? Potential juror 61 says, Yes, my father is faculty support for victims of SA on campus in Indiana under Title 9 or 10. The judge says Title 9. And then he's like, has he spoken with you about it? Like about his work, I guess. And would that impact you? She says, no. The judge goes, okay, cool. Where did you hear about this case? Because remember, one of the questions was, have you read about this case? Have you already heard about this, familiar with this case, heard about it, read about it, watched a video about it, et cetera, et cetera. She says, she heard about it on CNN. She said, I lean negative toward him, meaning Diddy, Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs. I lean negative toward P. Diddy having committed some crimes, but I don't know. The judge says, could you be fair? She says, yes, juror 61. He goes, okay, go back to courtroom 26B. Diddy's lawyer's like, no. What do you mean? She saw this on CNN and she already thinks he committed some crimes. No, we got to get rid of her. Mark Agnifilo said, I moved to strike for cause. And for cause means, from what I understand, that this person cannot be fair or impartial. Juror 61. Okay, so the judge says, I agree. Juror 61 is excluded. So just for y'all keeping track at home, the first two jurors have not been allowed to go forward. They've been excluded. I will have a chart. I'm kind of playing catch up right now, but I will have the chart at least to show y'all on the screen. Probably either the next video or certainly definitely, by Friday. So the judge says, I agree. We got to get rid of 61. So that's the first two jurors of the day could not even move forward. Now they're going to juror number 88, prospective juror number 88. The judge says to this juror, also a female, any yes answers? Juror 88 says, yes, I am in therapy for my knees. The judge said, your knees? Maybe they were asking about like actual therapy, like mind psychotherapy. But she's like, yeah, I need to go to the therapist for my knees. The judge said, your knees? She's like, yeah, I have to ask the therapist if I could come in on a Saturday. The judge is like, late at night or early? And the juror is like, I guess their call. My son works in Rockland County, executive assistant district attorney, criminal cases. Okay, so this person's son is a prosecutor in Rockland County. The judge said, could you be fair? Juror 88 said, I don't know. I don't know. Look, listen, I don't want a juror. I do not want a juror whose son is a prosecutor, if I'm on trial, I'll say. If I'm on trial, I'm saying, no. What do you mean you don't know? Could you be fair? I don't know. No, we got to get rid of this person. The judge said, you love your son. Wouldn't it be hard? Juror 88, I don't know. What I say is bias. What I say is bias may not be what you say it is. But I can't say I wouldn't be biased. I would try. The judge said, okay, you're dismissed. The judge, without anybody making a motion, it looks like, strikes that juror for cause as well. 3 strikes, 3 jurors up to bat, 3 strikes, 3 outs. Okay, so then it seems like we get the first male potential juror appearance for the day. So juror 101 is the 4th one that they're calling forward. This is 3 hours ago, tweeted. Juror 101 says, I have a question. The judge said, okay. He said, listen, this is not funny at all. I'm just laughing at the way that Inner City Press types this. You got to get everything in a tweet, right? I'm seriously so impressed with him. I'm never going to stop singing his praises, seriously. Because without his tweets, how would we even be doing this? He says, so juror 101 says, I have 7 stents in my heart. I just can't. 7 stents. I didn't even know you could have 7 stents. Don't you only have 4 valves? How do you have 7 stents? He said, I have 7 stents in my heart. I just can't. Okay, you're excused, sir. The judge lets him out. So that's 0 allowed to go forward. 4 struck out in the first 4. Next juror comes forward. Female. I have had an S harassment training, and I majored in psychology. The judge said, could you be fair? She says, yes. My mother was in a car crash. It was fatal. We had a lawsuit. Oh, her mom died, I guess. And my sister, she got into substances and got abused, and later she passed away of cancer. Oh, that's sad. So that juror leaves. That's juror. Okay, what comes between 101 and 107 on this list? Let me look. Maybe that's, oh, they're not all on here, huh? This is interesting. Okay. I don't know what number juror that is. The person who had S harassment training, majored in psychology, mom was in a car crash that was fatal, had a lawsuit, and her sister got into substances and was abused and passed of cancer. That juror leaves. I don't know what number she was. The judge says, is anybody trying to move to strike on this person? Anybody having issues with her being a juror? And neither side had any issues, so they left her. She remains in the pool. But again, I do not know what number juror she is. It's something, I don't know if they're even going in order, but this is 101 here, and then it jumps to 137. So maybe it's something between 101 and 137, but I really don't know. But she stays in. Okay, so then juror 137 comes forward. This is the sixth. This is the sixth prospective juror of day 2. We're on day 2 of the first week of Diddy trial. This trial is expected to last 8 weeks. I don't know if that counts this week or not. I think it probably doesn't. I think it's probably going to be 8 more weeks. Okay, so juror 137 says, I know a Robert Dunn from high school, but that's a common name. The judge said, where did you go to high school? He said, Trinity High School. Well, that's a common high school name too. He said, my father was a psychiatrist and I know many. The judge said, okay, well, what do you do? He said, I'm a realtor with Sotheby's. This is like a very bougie real estate firm. That one in Berkshire Hathaway is so bougie. The Sotheby's is like an auction house. He said, I'm a realtor. I know a lot of lawyers. I and my brother. In the surrogate's court on our father's estate, we had to fight to get what the will said. It's going to sound incredible, but it took 10 years. Don't sound incredible to me. Juror 137. If you want to come on this channel and talk about it on this channel, you have a platform if you get dismissed. If you are watching this and you're not dismissed, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Do not come on this platform. You do not come over here. He's a realtor. He said he had to fight for what was his rightfully in the estate court for 10 years. And so because of that, he knows a lot of lawyers. Him and his brother had to fight to get what they were owed out of their father's estate. Does not surprise me. You know who else is in the surrogates court right now in New York? Wendy Williams. That's where her guardianship in the probate surrogates court over there in New York. That doesn't surprise me at all. We are right smack dab in the middle of the biggest, largest wealth transfer in civilization history, and everybody that can try to fight to keep their little grubby paws on people's money is doing it. People are not just able to just so simply hand things over to their children these days. Okay, it's just not happening like that anymore. Anyway, okay. And so the judge says, okay, so then the same juror says, my father and I were on I-95, that's like an interstate, and a rock was thrown down on us. All right. So this is one of the answers to one of the questions is my dad and I were on the interstate and a rock was thrown down on us. So I think that's like, were you ever been the victim of a crime or something? Then he says, I saw the clip of the defendant by a hotel elevator. He's saying he also saw the Diddy footage. He saw the CNN clip. He said he was in a towel. There was a woman on the ground. I can't recall it. I believe he's in jail in New York City. The judge said, could you be fair? Juror 137, this is the guy who spent 10 years in the estate court. He said, yeah, I could be fair. The judge said, okay, but you wrote that you were unsure. The juror said, I don't know if that video is part of the case, but I would listen to your instructions, he says to the judge. Agnifilo said, we know that a close variant. Agnifilo. So the juror leaves. He comes in, he says he knows lawyers. He says he was in the estate court. All this was going on. He actually wrote on his questionnaire, juror number 137, he wrote on his questionnaire that he was not sure if he could be fair. The judge also made reference to the fact that the juror 137, potential juror, he had seen the CNN footage. He had seen Diddy running like a puma down the hall. And this is a very common theme that I am noticing with these jurors, even from yesterday and now today. Many of them have seen the CNN hotel lobby footage. Now, it's unfortunately kind of helping Diddy and some of his lawyers' arguments, because Diddy's lawyers have argued that the government was trying to taint the jury pool by showing that footage. And at the time, I thought that sounded a little bit over dramatic. But now, I mean, a lot of the jurors did say that they have seen that footage. So unfortunately, the facts are kind of helping Diddy out at this point. However, it isn't every juror. I mean, what are we on, the sixth, seventh one or whatever right now? And it's the first one, second one that said it. Okay, so it's not like every single one. So it's fine, but I don't know. Okay, so Agnifilo says after that juror leaves, Agnifilo's like, all right, look, dude, hello, excuse me, Your Honor, hi. A very close variant of that video is going to be shown at trial. And that man just said that he couldn't be fair, or was not sure if he could be fair, specifically because he saw that video, and maybe the CNN version of the video isn't going to be played, but it's going to be a very close variant. And so for that reason, we just need to get rid of that man. And then the government didn't even argue back. They're like, we don't object. Maybe they don't want him in for some other reason. Maybe they really are just being fair all of a sudden. I don't know. I really don't know, but they didn't object. The judge said, okay, fine. Juror 137 is excluded. Moving on. So this is 2 hours ago. This was tweeted. So I guess we got through about the first hour so far or so. Okay, then, it starts to get a little juicy. It starts to get a little dramatic. Juror 143 comes in. This is a male. He says, I read an article going home from the courthouse about the jury selection process. The judge said, you weren't supposed to. He said, it was from my phone. I read who got excluded. Okay, he goes on, Juror 143. My wife is a child cancer psychologist. I don't know what a child cancer psychologist is. Judge says, where? NYU. And then he goes, I'm a lawyer. Judge said, where? The juror 143 said, I work in-house at Transact with a Z. I clerked in the Maryland State Attorney's Office. And he answers yes to one of the questions. I was arrested for DUIs. Because the reason he's saying these specific questions are because these are specific questions that were asked on the questionnaire. Are you a lawyer, prosecutor, something like that? What does your spouse do for work? Where do you work? I clerked. Have you ever been a clerk? Have you ever worked in the judiciary? I mean, these are things like kind of off the top of my head. I'm not, please don't, quote me. I'm paraphrasing what I remember. Have you ever been arrested, convicted, charged, et cetera, et cetera? It's like anything more than a traffic ticket. Have you ever been a victim of a crime? He says, my wife and I were victims of identity theft, credit card theft. The judge said, when? He said, a week ago. Then, okay, he was victim, him and his wife were victims of identity theft and credit card theft 1 week ago. Then Agnifilo passes a question up on a piece of paper. The judge then turns to potential prospective juror 143 and says, how did you find that article yesterday? He said, on my phone on Metro North, and then he got up and left. The assistant U.S. attorney said, we are concerned. This juror is a trained lawyer, but did not obey. He read about jury selection. Agnifilo said, I'm not concerned enough for a cause challenge. So Agnifilo wants to keep this lawyer juror that was a victim of identity theft or whatever. He's like, I'm not concerned. I like him. He said, actually, in fact, we object. So Diddy wants this guy in. The judge kind of seems to be siding with Diddy and Agnifilo and says, well, he did disclose it. Like as soon as he got here, he said he saw an article about the jury selection process. The assistant U.S. attorney's like, yeah, he clicked the article. Judge says, okay, fine. I will strike him. So that juror is not going to be in, the one who read the article on the train. Okay, so moving right along, then they call up juror 149. This is a male. He said, I had a 4-week rotation into psychiatry in my medical training. I'm at Mount Sinai in surgical pathology. I've been an expert witness for 4 or 5 cases in medical malpractice. So this guy is answering to the question, have you ever practiced or do you work with therapists or something about psychiatrists, therapists. Do you have any training in these fields, etc.? He said, yeah, I mean, I did a rotation. It was for 4-week rotation, but I'm a surgeon. He has also been an expert witness. So you know how we're calling in Dr. Hughes, Dr. Aoun, and Dr. What's that other one's name? Sasha Bardley. This guy is like that type of expert, but in the particular scope of medical malpractice lawsuits. So like when you need to sue your doctor and you have to sue their medical malpractice insurance gets involved in all of that. So this guy's like an expert witness for that. He said he's been an expert witness in 4 or 5 cases. He also says my son was beaten up and he had his cell phone stolen while he was at George Washington University. The judge said, by who? This juror, potential prospective juror 149, he says, well, I was told it was 3 young black men who had beat my son up and stole his cell phone while he was at college at George Washington University. The judge said, okay, well, but will you be biased because of that? The juror said, people are people. So I don't know exactly what to make of that. I mean, I guess that's the man saying I wouldn't be biased against black people, if that's what you're asking. Like, it wouldn't be because somebody was black. But I don't know exactly what he means. I mean, all I can really do is speculate and do conjecture based on what I'm seeing here. But the judge says, I'm not going to strike him. And both sides agree. Nobody says, you got to get rid of this guy. So that one will probably end up being in the jury pool, if I had to guess, 149. Because he also didn't say he heard about this case. Like a lot of these people have heard about the case, and even some of them even admitted today that they kind of already made their mind up. Remember that girl from way earlier, one of the first ones we read? She's like, kind of, I'm leaning toward, I think he did some crimes. So this juror just having simply had, his son was beat up by some random people, and he's saying he's not going to be biased. Like, I can't really see a reason to strike him. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to run some of this stuff by my law school teachers, because I feel like they have experience and knowledge of like things I wouldn't think of like, oh no, you would want to get rid of this guy because blah, 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 blah. Plus there's rules. You can't just strike somebody for race or gender or something like that. You have to have like a real cause. Like they actually are not going to be fair. Like someone saying, I think Diddy's guilty is like for cause. Okay. So that juror 149, he gets to stay around. Now, here comes the next juror, and he said, I might be elected officer in my union, but no. So I won't start a new job. My wife is, okay. So he had originally said he might be starting a new job, which would make him unable to serve as a juror. But he's saying, I didn't get the promotion. I didn't get the promotion or elected officer of the union, so I'm not going to start the new job. So that's not an issue anymore. My wife is a victim of assault, and the judge is like, by who? The juror said, an uncle. In our culture, it was swept under the rug. The judge said, whose culture? What culture? And the juror says, Puerto Rican. Okay. Mostly everyone. Okay. So because they come from I'm not saying this, y'all. Okay. Don't come for me. All right. But this is what this juror, he apparently is Puerto Rican. He's saying, my wife was a victim of assault by her own uncle, but because of our culture, it was swept under the rug. So like nothing really came of it. There was, no justice or whatever. And then they move on to the next topic. Now, remember, y'all, there's probably a lot of dialogue and a lot of little chitter chatter and context and stuff that we are missing because we are limited for, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video must be worth 1,000,000, and what is being there in real life worth, so this is just as best I can do to try and keep up and fill in the gaps. I'm relying on, this publicly available Twitter thread to piece these pieces of information together. But a lot of this stuff is really kind of probably up for debate because look, it just goes straight from Puerto Rican to the video, right? So I have to infer, I am inferring, and I'll imply that they have moved on topics. Somehow the topic has switched and now they're talking about the CNN tape. This is 2 hours ago. We're still catching up. I'm assuming they're probably back from break now, or they will be back from break very soon. The juror says, mostly everyone saw the video of Diddy and his ex-girlfriend. The judge said, Okay, but you wrote that he looked angry and hostile and entitled? The juror said, I did. Judge said, could you be fair? Juror said, yes. Neither side objects to this juror. Again, we are not told exactly what his number is. See, it goes just from 149 who leaves, and then we move to the next one. This is the guy who says he's Puerto Rican and Puerto Rican culture. It wasn't reported. He stayed in, though. He stayed in so far. Now, just because someone survives this round doesn't mean they're going to be definitely in the jury pool. There's still the strikes that each side is going to get to do. Remember, they need 12 jurors and 6 alternates in case something were to happen. I mean, anything could happen, to somebody. Look, one of the guys had 7 stents in his heart. I mean, they did excuse him, but anything could happen to a juror. And you don't want, just because something happens to one juror, to have a whole mistrial or something. So there's going to be alternates also there sitting in the courtroom, just as the same as the other jurors, in case they need to be tagged in. They're kind of like jury understudies. So they do need to still get about, they need to get 18 people. Okay, so that juror gets to stay in, and then we move on to prospective juror number 160. The judge says, do you personally know any of the people on the list? This is a female juror, a potential juror. She said, I wish I did, but no. So now we're talking about the list of famous people and places and stuff. She said, once with my ex-boyfriend, I supported him in his child support case. The judge says, parties, any questions? Meaning like feds, Agnifilo, do y'all have any questions? They don't. And then, this 160 said, that was easy. She's funny. These people, they are funny. Some of these people are funny. I'm still, if y'all didn't see yesterday's video, you got to go back and see. Where was she going? The Spirit Weaver conference. She said to the judge, I do have a non-refundable ticket to the Spirit Weaver conference. And he's like, what's the Spirit Weaver conference? She said, oh, it's ladies dancing in the woods. She was the one that designed fonts. So now we have this lady today. She's like, the judge goes, do you know any of these people on this list of famous people? She said, I wish, but no. And then when they didn't have any questions for her, she's like, that was easy. Okay, so then the next juror comes through. I don't know what number this one is. This person designs kitchens in Yonkers on commission. The judge said, if you were here for 8 weeks, what percentage of your income would be hit? Juror said 30%. I could survive it. My wife is suing my landlord. Oh, okay. Maybe that's the disclosure. Like, yeah, I'm involved in a lawsuit. My wife is suing the landlord. For what? Repairs. I have friends who have been assaulted. One of my brothers went to jail for robbery. Golly. The wife is suing the landlord. The brother went to jail for robbery. The other brother went to jail for fraud. What is this family? They're both home now. Okay, all right. They did their time. All right. On the news, I saw this trial was coming up. It's been all over the news, including this morning. It was on in my house. The judge said you weren't supposed to watch that. And then he leaves out. But even though he saw it on the news this morning, the case coverage, nobody objected to him being a juror. So he's still in for now. Then they move on. Juror 175. She says, my mother is a cancer survivor. I take her to appointments at Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx. My nephew was a GANG member, and he, a police officer. Ooh, who was that? His nephew. So his sibling's son. They dropped the charges, and he's supposed to come out in July. That's in state court. The judge said, how's your English? Okay, so this must be somebody who, for some reason, has given the judge indication that their English might be not proficient. Judge asks juror 175, how is your English? How is proficient? He says, sometimes reading it is hard, difficult words. Judge said, can you sit here and read emails and my legal instructions? Juror said, I think so. At the hospital, I distribute supplies, disposables. So he leaves. The feds, the prosecutors, do not want this man in. I don't know what the English issue is, but they are saying they have an issue with his English proficiency. They say Agnifilo wants him in. Agnifilo said, I ain't worried about it, not one bit. I think he's going to be fine. Agnifilo, Diddy's lawyer, says the text messages in this case are in very simple English. We object. We object to the government's motion to strike. The government said the texts are abbreviated. There's typos. They're hard to interpret. The judge said, I'm not going to exclude him for cause. I don't think y'all made your case strong enough that the man has that much of an English problem. But, you know, you can use one of your strikes if you want to. Okay, moving on. The next juror comes in. This is 1 hour ago. This time is a female juror, potential juror. I don't like how I'm like not in the screen. Okay. On the questionnaire, I said I hadn't seen Diddy on TV, but I did. Oops, she's saying I lied, y'all. She said, and I have been traumatized. Back in Ivory Coast in war, it was a lot of things. That's terrible. The judge said, so you can't be on the jury? She said, I cannot. That's interesting. She had said one thing on the questionnaire and now she changed her answer. She's from the Ivory Coast. She saw a lot of stuff in war and now all of a sudden she can't be on the jury and she says, no, I cannot. Either way, the judge said, fine, get out of here. Bye. So I don't know what number juror that was. Juror 180 then comes in, also female. She says, we once had to evict someone from a commercial warehouse in Mexico. Also, I get tummy aches. I'm not 100%. I might have to take bathroom breaks. Sorry, TMI. So she must have some type of like IBS, Crohn, you know, something like that. She said, I might have to take bathroom breaks. Sorry if too much information. The judge said, can you sit through a movie? She said, yes. I also feel guilt. I don't know what I also feel guilt means. The judge then says to the same juror, prospective juror number 180, anything in your religious beliefs that would make you bias? She said, I think because I'm Catholic, I am very tolerant. Okay, so we got a Catholic in the mix. Diddy's lawyer has no questions. You know, sometimes they can pass these questions up. No questions from him. AUSA, the assistant U.S. attorney, they pass a question forward written on a little note. And the judge said, what was your surgery? She said, female. So a female surgery, maybe like a hysterectomy or something like that. She goes, and I had COVID. So juror 180, that one we just talked about, stomach aches, can't sit through a movie, or maybe she could or whatever. She's excluded. So I don't know why they excluded her, but they did. So some stayed in, some went out. Okay. And then there is a video. So let me go to Inner City Press. I guess I can keep this up so y'all can see. Let me go to his video because he did make a video. Okay. So they're back in session. The court's back in session now. I want to find his little blog he made. Here it is right here. He's so concise. Okay, that's as loud as it goes. Let me see. Let me read some of y'all's things real quick. Can I get a copy of your jury member sheet? Yeah, Shelly, it's not done right now. It's not done yet. But yeah, I will share it. Thanks so much for the $2 super chat. Work on your business. Yes, Slay. Thank you for the €59.99 for your legal fund. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just so y'all know, if you donate to the legal fund through YouTube, that goes to like a separate account. YouTube takes like quite a bit of the money, which is totally fine if that's easiest for you. Just to let y'all know, the official legal fund, like most of the money, except like a very small percent, goes straight to me, which then goes straight to lawyers. Thank you so much. That makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. Thank you, Paige Collin. Thank you, Paige Collins, for the robe and gavel. I already have the robe. I do need a gavel. Thank you so much for that $4.99 super chat. Welcome, Zen. $88.99 to memberships. Welcome, Angel Clement Guidry. I know you from Louisiana, girl. Angèle Clement Guidry. Yes, indeed. Welcome to memberships. Laissez les bon temps rouler, Michelle. Yes, Slay. Monica. I see Monica in the chat. I see Diamond Rainbow was in the chat. Okay, let's see the video that Inner City Press did make, because it does appear they're back from the lunch break now. I don't want to get too much of a rush, y'all, because yesterday it was a little bit excruciating sitting here having to refresh and refresh and refresh. So let's see what the video is that he made. It says vlog 2, May 6th. Oh, y'all want to go watch his first vlog? Let's go watch his first vlog. Did he make one? Let's see. Diddy Jury Selection Blues. He wrote a song. I like his songs. Okay, here we go. This is his video from this morning, before it started. So let's just see what he's saying. Because y'all, I mean, he's sitting in the court every day. Like, he has the best view of all of us.
Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. Now, we're back into day 2 of jury selection in USA versus
Can y'all hear it?
We covered it yesterday in great detail, including the juror from HBO who's still in the pool. Mark Agnifilo asked to have her removed since they did the fall of Diddy, but Judge Squirrel left her in and said you could use it peremptory. There was a second round of questioning, and she still wasn't knocked out. So you can find that on Inner City Press. Now, this morning we've already written a story. Why? Because before 7 a.m., the U.S. Attorney's Office wrote into Judge Subramanian asking that Mark Garagos, who yesterday we saw in the courtroom.
I was not aware. Okay, maybe I just missed it. Mark Garagos was in the courtroom yesterday. Mark Garagos is the father of Teeny Garagos, who's been on this case since like pretty much the beginning. I think maybe like literally the beginning. And she in and of herself, like she's like one of these super lawyer types. But Mark Garagos is on a podcast with Harvey Levin, the Two Angry Men podcast. And he's talking about the Diddy case the day or 2 days before he becomes one of the lawyers on the Diddy case. When did he even become one of these Diddy? When did he even become one? I got to read that letter. I haven't even downloaded it yet. Let's see what Matthew Russell Lee says about that letter. He said he already wrote a story on it. Listen up.
We're in one row. It's all very organized. Who can sit where? And there he was, Mark Garagos. He was kind of like smiling and thought it was just preening. But as it turns out, the government is saying that he's advising them on jury selection, and that for that reason, although he hasn't filed a notice of appearance, he was not among the 2 that were being added. There's a Nicole that's being added, and it was
okay. That's news. That's news. Remember they said that 2 lawyers are going to be added to the case. They said this last week, Thursday. There was a pre-trial, the last preliminary, like pre-trial, not preliminary, excuse me, the last pre-trial hearing. And it was like really to sort out the jury questionnaire and a few other evidentiary motions in limine. Well, in this hearing, Mark Agnifilo said there was going to be 2 more lawyers added to Diddy's defense team. One such lawyer is Xavier Donaldson, and he went to Howard. I did a whole video on him. He filed a notice of appearance. It was filed. There was not, from what I saw the last I checked, another notice of appearance filed by another lawyer. So I'm like, okay, maybe they aren't going to have another defense lawyer add on. I mean, I guess they can add a lawyer at any time they want. I don't exactly know. I mean, that's one of the questions I should ask my teacher too. Let me start writing these down. When can not add new lawyer? Too late. Okay. So if you remember right before I started playing that segment, I said, I don't think Mark Garagos actually filed a notice of appearance in this case. Like, I don't think, I didn't see it. And so Matthew Russell Lee is confirming this. He's saying Mark Garagos is not one of those 2 lawyers that Mark Agnifilo was referencing last week on Thursday. It was Xavier Donaldson and someone by the name of Nicole as a first name. So let me rewind back maybe just a few seconds so you can hear that part once more.
Find that on Inner City Press. Now, this morning we've already written a story. Why? Because before 7 a.m., the U.S. Attorney's Office wrote into Judge Subramanian asking that Mark Garagos, who yesterday we saw in the courtroom, we were in one row. It's all very organized. Who can sit where? And there he was, Mark Garagos. He was cut.
It's all very organized. Who can sit where, he said. So there he is right there, like on the lawyer bench or whatever. Mark Garagos, and he's sitting there preening because he's on that podcast. I mean, he loves attention, it seems.
Kind of like smiling and thought it was just preening, but as it turns out, the government is saying that he's advising them on jury selection, and that for that reason, although he hasn't filed a notice of appearance, he was not among the two that were being added. There's a Nicole that's being added, and it was Xavier Donaldson added. But Mark Garagos is not on the team, but is advising them. Therefore, the U.S. Attorney's Office says they want him admonished about public statements, including on podcasts. So there's that. We'll be doing day 2. And
yes, okay, look, listen, I totally agree with them. And y'all know I am straight down the middle. I try to be. I'm not like totally on the government side. I'm not totally on Diddy's side either. I try to be fair, and I totally agree. If you're going to have somebody on your team and whose daughter is on your team, you should not be on Harvey Levin, Mr. TMZ propaganda himself. It's just too much conflicts of interest, in my opinion. If I'm Diddy, I'm going to be pissed. If I'm a defendant, I'm going to be mad, because it would seem, in my opinion, Diddy. I can't even tell who's on what side, but the government is like, okay, he's going out, he's making all these statements, but he's like basically a lawyer on the case. So if he's going to be a lawyer on the case, advising on jury selection, he should just shut his trap about Diddy's case, because everybody is under a protective order in here. The judge has reinstated the protective order over and over. And just last week, Diddy was mad at Lisa Bloom for doing podcast interviews and doing documentary interviews. So what's got to be good for the goose got to be good for the gander. That's kind of what I think that the government is arguing. We're going to read that document in a little while.
A few short moments. We'll also today be covering, hopefully, at 10 a.m., the Second Circuit appeals arguments involving both Ozturk and Madawi.
Okay, so I think that was all the Diddy stuff. So let's go to the post-break Twitter thread and see what has happened so far. I want to find like the top of the thread. Okay, so he just kept going on that same thread. Okay, good. Okay, they're back 38 minutes ago. I was a jury captain in Philadelphia 20 years ago. I've seen. Okay, so this is a female juror. So they're back. First prospective juror that's questioned. We don't get a number for her, but she does disclose that she has been on like a jury before 20 years ago in Philly. She said, I have seen the Diddy video and I find it disturbing. The judge said, could you be fair? She said, yes. She leaves and nobody says that they should strike. I don't know. I think that's interesting because yesterday, Mark Agnifilo was trying to strike people for saying that the video was disturbing. Today, he's not, I guess. But she leaves out. So she still is in the pool. She hasn't been excluded yet. Okay, then juror 184 comes in. This is a male. He says, I am a security guard. The judge said, where do you work? He said, Canva. I'm also a social worker. Agnifilo passes a question forward on a little notepad. What kind of social worker? This juror, 184, says child neglect. The judge said, okay, can you be fair? 184 says, yes, I could be fair. So they allow this juror to leave. Nobody says, let's strike him. So he's in the pool so far. This is interesting. Okay, so then now a new juror comes in. So they're moving right along. Juror number 194, she says, I work at the nonprofit Argus as a vocational counselor. The judge said, with whom? She said, Micah. Judge said, what is that? Mentally ill chemical addiction. That's very interesting. Judge said, you say you were the victim of a crime? 194 said, yeah, the girlfriend of my ex assaulted me. Okay, so she breaks up with her ex. The ex gets a new girlfriend. The new girlfriend allegedly assaulted juror 194. she was upset. He dated me. Previously, I was physically assaulted and my nose was broken. My vision and my knee. I filed a police report. The judge said, could you be fair? She said, certain testimony about violence, maybe. She leaves. Judge says, strike. Okay, so seems to be the first striked juror after the lunch break, unless I'm forgetting. Okay, a new one comes in, and the reason this one got struck is because they were assaulted violently in the past more than once, allegedly, and so it would be difficult for them to be totally impartial or fair on this case because the testimony would involve violence and it would just be, traumatic or whatever. New juror comes in, a new prospective juror, also a female, juror 199. I'm a freelance worker. If I'm not working, I'm not getting paid. Judge said, okay, fine, get out of here, bye. So she gets excused. The new juror comes in, this time a male, juror 201. So we're in the 200s now, okay? This is how many people we've had to go through just to get enough people in the pool. Juror 201 says, I have a friend who was a detective in Florida. My son is a security guard at Mercy College, and I was on a jury in the Bronx. The judge said, could you be fair? He said, yes. Nobody opposes him. Nobody says, I object. No, don't let him in. And so juror 201 gets left in the jury pool. Juror 204, female, comes in. She says, I work for an imports company, importing avocados. My uncle was in the NYPD. Would you be biased for law enforcement? She said, yes. Judge said, you're excused. Get out of here. So it's good, though. It's good. You should admit it. You should admit if you would be biased because people deserve a fair trial. Moving right along, they get to now juror 208. This is a female. She said, my son graduates in the second week of June from Mamaroneck High School. I heard a song about this case on a Russian comedy channel. The judge said, you're excused. Get out of here. Okay, so he's going to let her go her go to her son's graduation. Then we got another tweet. The most recent one was just 1 minute ago. The judge said, you're in court? Juror 210, I am evicting a tenant. Oh no! The judge said, okay, is there anything about the race of the defendant that would cause you to not be fair? Juror 210 said no, but also I use the devil's lettuce, MJ. The judge said, can you not during the trial? I'm going to order that. Watch him be like, oh no, it's my medicine. So that was the most recent tweet. Oh no, there was more. Okay, there's more. Okay, there's some more. The juror said, okay. The judge said, were you arrested for marijuana? The juror said, in New Jersey, I paid a fine. That was it. He's crazy. This man is funny. The judge goes, when did you last use marijuana? He said last night. I might have liked something on X. I don't remember. The judge said, what have you seen? This is funny, y'all. The judge said, what have you seen? He said, the video of Diddy getting arrested. I might have clicked like. Agnifilo passes forward a written question. Would not using marijuana be hard for you? The juror said, yes, that would be hard for me. The assistant U.S. attorney, and then he leaves. Juror 210. The assistant U.S. attorney, the feds are like, get rid of him. The judge said, yeah, he was honest. So, I mean, whatever. I'm not going to judge the guy. I mean, I can see why they might not want him on anybody's jury. He said, I might have clicked like on Diddy getting arrested last night while I was also participating in the devil's lettuce. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up that document. I want to see the Mark Agnifilo. I want to see what the government, the feds, are saying about Mark Garagos. because he did not apply to be Diddy's lawyer. He did not file a notice of appearance. The feds this morning have filed something asking for the judge to admonish Mark Garagos for making statements on podcasts. If you're just joining, hi, hello. We are caught up. We are caught up with the tweets, but they are coming in every 5 minutes or so. So we're keeping track of that. Look, I'll show you right here. Keeping track of that on Inner City Press. Most recent tweet was 5 minutes ago, and that was the guy, he wanted to do too much devil's lettuce. Oh, we have another tweet. Hold on, 5 seconds ago. Juror 211. So we just got rid of 210. Here's 211. As a father of 2 young children and a daughter, I am concerned. The judge said, could you be fair? He said, yeah. I used to work at Credit Suisse. Swiss? I don't know what that is. Now I work in collectibles, baseball cards, comic books. My wife is on social media. She loves TMZ. Okay, well, the owner of TMZ and the founder of TMZ, Harvey Levin, is on a podcast with Diddy's lawyer, Mark Garagos. So I think this is not going to work if the favorite is TMZ. Okay, so then the feds have a question. This was a 5 second ago tweet. Let's see if anything's new, if he's said anything since. Okay. I am going to continue looking at for that document because I want to see what the government said. Also, I mean, it's like 5 minutes between tweets on average here. So we got to find something to fill in our time. That way you can also just stay up to date with all the context of everything going on. Oh my Lord, y'all. There's a lot of stuff. Letter motion. Nicole Westmoreland showed up for Diddy. Okay, let me show y'all actually. Here you go. Here is the docket. So the most recent thing that I read on this channel was this right here, docket number 316. Now, don't get too excited about this transcript of proceedings because we do not have access to that. If you just you click on it, it says you do not have access. Eventually we may, but usually I don't get access to transcripts because they're expensive. Letter motion. Okay, this is the letter motion. I think it's the motion at dockets. Okay, and then something else was filed for docket 236, 76, and 77. Let's see what those are. Just that's the most recent filing. I don't think they're going to have victim 3 come in. They're not going to have victim 3 come in. That's one thing that they were talking about yesterday at the end of court. So let me open up docket number 319. Because this is the one about Mark Garagos. 2 pages long. Okay. Let me just make sure first that there's not like a new tweet. I don't want to miss those. That's the priority. No. Okay. Nothing new here yet. So let me pull up the document that was filed today about Mark Garagos and admonishing him. Okay, here we go. Okay, dear judge, the government respectfully writes following the first day of jury selection in the above captioned matter. During the course of jury selection, despite the presence of 7 defense attorneys who have filed notices of appearance in this case and a jury consultant. So I want to know, who is the jury consultant? The defense team appeared to consult with Mark Garagos. Again, y'all, listen, this is the father of one of Diddy's lawyers. Okay, this is not just a random guy. Mark Garagos is the father of Teeny Garagos, who is the daughter of Mark Garagos. And Mark Garagos is one of the 2 angry men on the 2 Angry Men podcast with Harvey Levin, the owner of TMZ. And this Mark Garagos guy has been on the 2 Angry Men podcast yapping his jaw about Diddy. And if you are a lawyer on this case, you are not supposed to be talking about Diddy because of that protective order everyone has agreed to. Indeed, and in fact, it was Diddy and Agnifilo who demanded to have this protective order in place where nobody could yap to the media. And yet here they are yapping to the media. I mean, it kind of appears like that's what the government is saying. They were consulting with Mark Garagos and other members of the Garagos law firm who were present in court. Mr. Garagos and his law firm have a long-standing relationship with Diddy. Ooh, see government motion filed under seal from February 25th, 2025. Wow. They're like, Mark Garagos has a long-standing relationship with Diddy, and we already told you about this under seal 2-3 months ago. But neither Mr. Garagos nor any member of his firm has filed a notice of appearance in this case. Nevertheless, given his apparent role as an advisor to Diddy and the defense team, the government respectfully requests the court to remind Mr. Garagos and members of his firm of their obligations under the rules, which state that during a jury trial of any criminal matter, including the period of selection of the jury, no lawyer or law firm associated with the defense shall give or authorize any extrajudicial statement or interview relating to the trial or the parties or issues in the trial. This is the rule. They're citing it. In which which a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communication if there is a substantial likelihood that such dissemination will interfere with a fair trial. The feds go on. They say the need for the court's admonishment is necessary, given that as recently as 3 days ago, Mr. Garagos spoke at length about the trial in this case in his podcast called Two Angry Men. Ooh, they mad. I was aggravated about it when I saw it personally. Harvey exposes what he knows about Diddy. Two Angry Men. Available at wherever. Mr. Garagos has commented repeatedly on this case on his podcast, including an episode in which he hosted his daughter, Teeny Garagos. Oh, y'all, they're brazen. One of the defendant's attorneys in this case. Wow. When was that? March 1st, 2025. Whoa. These people are brazen. Wow. Mr. Garagos' podcast with Harvey Levin, the creator of the tabloid news organization TMZ. Oh my God, highlight. During the podcast, Mr. Garagos opined on a variety of topics, including characterizing specific pieces of evidence in this case. He described the government's use of the Intercontinental Hotel video surveillance as, quote, character assassination. Oh my God. Y'all, okay, hold on. This guy is doing all of this, and Diddy's team has the bold-faced, unmitigated audacity to say that Lisa Bloom can't be on a documentary? I was on their side. I agreed. Maybe Lisa Bloom shouldn't be doing all of that. But why is Mark Garagos doing it? The feds say he ain't only talking about the government's use of the Intercontinental Hotel video surveillance footage as character assassination. He's talking about other stuff too. He's talking about the makeup of the prosecution team handling this case, observing that it could look like you're prosecuting a cause. He talked about arguments the defense intends to make, noting that Diddy has a violent temper, and especially, I think, when you combine it with the DRUG use. But that isn't what he's charged with. He's not charged with having a violent temper. He's not charged with DRUG use. The government goes on. They say in the podcast, Your Honor, Mr. Garagos advises the listeners that he will be back next week to discuss this further. As the defendant has repeatedly observed in the context of seeking relief pursuant to the local rule, as Diddy has repeatedly told you, Your Honor, courts have an independent obligation to avoid the creation of a carnival. All roads leads to clowns, y'all. Avoid the creation of a carnival atmosphere in high-profile cases. Well, look, listen, if you are on a podcast with Harvey Eugene Levin, it's a carnival. You've made it a carnival. It's a clown show. I mean, he is the clown. Like, when I think of him, I hear a clown horn going, okay? Additionally, in seeking court intervention under this rule as recently as the end of April, Diddy has complained that lawyers for government witnesses have commented on pretrial litigation and continue to broadcast prejudicial statements. Here, for the same reasons of concerns of the effect of pretrial publicity on a fair trial, now we're using Diddy's logic. And we would also like for the court to remind Mr. Garagos and the rest of the defense team of their obligations. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see what the judge decides on that. I am glad that we had the opportunity to read that. Let's go back to Inner City Press and see. I'm sure he has some new tweets. So let's go back over there and see what's happened and what's going on with the jury selection. That guy's saying I might have clicked like. Funny. Okay, so 5 minutes ago, the judge says, okay, so just to remind y'all where we are, we're on juror number 211, male. He's the one who's like, I'm a father of 2 young children, so I am concerned. The judge says, could you be fair? He said, yes, I used to work at Credit Suisse. I don't know what that is. Now I work in collectibles, baseball cards, comic books. My wife is on social media. She loves TMZ. The judge said, what is the most valuable baseball card you've seen? The juror said, Honus Wagner. I don't know what that means. The judge said, has your wife spoken to you about this case? He said, yes, a month ago. Did he do it? The judge said, did you express an opinion? He said, OMG, it's a big accusation. I don't know what that means. Diddy wants him out. Agnifilo said, this man has an agenda. He tried to backpedal to get on the jury. He's turning to the parties and selling himself. He's trying to get on the jury. The judge said, I got it. He's getting struck. And he laughed. The assistant U.S. attorney said, you asked of bias. He said, no. Judge said, he's out. No, it's not happening. Okay, we got another tweet 56 seconds ago. Okay, juror 216, a male. He said, I work for New York City Transit. I was charged with assaulting a police officer, but it got dismissed. I was on 102nd in Lexington. A police officer was bracing up. They searched me and I put him in a chokehold. This is not good. Judge said, would you be biased against the police? I might. I mean, if I were him, you know what I mean? I want to watch the Inner City Press blog. He did a vlog after. We watched the one he did at first, but I want to watch the one he did at the lunch break. Yeah, this one.
Okay, here we are.
Okay. So this he put out about, I think it was about an hour ago. This is where we're reading all the tweets from. He was inside the courtroom. So he's going to probably give a little bit more context onto what we already read from earlier today. But like, there's even stuff in here. There's even stuff in this video that I don't think he actually says on the tweets. So I don't think it's the full even 1 minute, 46 seconds, but listen up to what he does say so we can get the most of the coverage.
Okay, here we are. Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here outside the Southern District of New York Courthouse after midway through day 2 of U.S. versus Sean Combs jury selection. Now, there was a lot of people knocked out. It's going to take a while. I don't know if it's going to be done in 3 days. What I can say is that what's most interesting to me is where they disagree and there's motions to strike and to not strike. For example, there was a gentleman from the Bronx who said that one of his relatives, the nephew, in fact, had been jailed for shooting a police officer as a gang member. Turns out he's also a juvenile. In any event, the case was dropped, he said, and he's getting out in July. Now, the government, based on citing language proficiency, said they wanted this juror off and excluded for cause on language proficiency. Sean Combs' lawyer, Agnifilo, said, no, he's entirely proficient, and the texts in the case are very straightforward. The government said they're straightforward, but they're full of typos. They have to be interpreted. Move to strike for cause. The judge said, no, I'm not going to strike him for cause. I'm going to watch this one because I'm assuming that the government is going to use a peremptory challenge. Each side, and is it really could it Batson challenge? In any event, there's things like that. There are a number of people that just knock themselves out. There was just a woman, at the end of the morning who said that she's a Catholic from Mexico. She thinks she can be fair, but she has health issues. In a sense, I think the defense wanted her because she said, she really doesn't, having somebody's life in their hands very serious. You really, really have to be sure. The government got her excluded, succeeded in excluding her based on health issues. And so it goes. You can find the whole thread up on Inner City Press. This is how we roll. And we're going to continue to cover this case very closely. To be continued.
I'm just such a fan. I am a fan. I am a stan. You can only follow 3 or 2 people on BJ Investigates on Twitter, and he's one of them. Yeah, 18 years old. Let's see what y'all are saying here. Thanks so much, Kelsey, for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate that. Welcome to membership, Nixie. And got your own membership and already gifting another one. Thank you so much. That is so nice. If you got the free membership from Nixie, you better say thank you. Boy Mama, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. He is the jury consultant. If he is, he's not allowed to be talking. He's still, counts as under the protective order. So he better not be saying he's the jury consultant. But also, Boy Mom X3, the government said in their letter that Diddy already has a jury consultant. So he wouldn't, it sounds like to me from their letter, he wouldn't be like the jury consultant. He would be a jury consultant because they seemed to differentiate between Mark Garagos and the jury consultant. But he may be. I mean, in any event, he is acting as a jury consultant. And if you're just joining, Mark Garagos, Teeny Garagos' father, is perhaps facing a little bit of heat, maybe going to get admonished by the court for making out of court statements, but we'll have to see. I don't know what the judge is going to decide on that. Let's see. Is the trial being held in New York City? Yes, it is in the Southern District of New York, Manhattan. Okay, so we do have some new tweets. Juror 216 is still in the hot seat. He was the one who was charged with assaulting the police officer, and he had put the police officer in the chokehold. He said, "Would you be biased against the police?" The juror said, I used to be biased against the police. Now I actually know some officers. I mean, I could have complied. Then I was arrested with a gravity KNIFE and had to pay a fine. The judge says, have you ever been a victim of a crime? He said, I woke up from being unconscious and my sneakers had been stolen. I'm going to need some more details on that story. Okay, that's the most recent tweet. He works for... This is the same juror who works for the New York City Transit. Charged with assaulting a police officer, got dismissed. On 102nd in Lexington, a police officer was bracing up, searched me. I put him in a chokehold. I used to be biased against police, but now I have some officer friends. I could have complied. Then I was arrested with a weapon. I had to pay a fine. And one time I woke up from being unconscious, and my sneakers had been stolen. Okay. Somebody said, can we look at the docket? I guess we should do that. We could do that. Here's the docket. And these are all the, look at all these documents that's been filed in this case. Look. Ching, ching, ching. Oh yeah, Diddy's lawyer. He has another new lawyer. What's her name? Nicole Westmoreland. I have heard this name before. Where have I heard Nicole Westmoreland before? Okay, I see. Oh, was she on the Young Thug trial? CMT was in here yesterday. Saying, that really Nicole Westmoreland was the reason that Young Thug won the case. I don't know. I don't know why they were saying that. CMT is in here, right here. Yeah, look, there they are. She is the female Diddy was looking for. Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, well, yeah, but I mean, I think she's also like a really good lawyer. I don't think it's just like, you know, a demographics checkbox. Like she's really good. Renee Hart says, wow. YSL. Thanks so much, Black Gold 347 for the $4.99 super chat. Remember that Jonathan Oddie mentioned Garagos in his interrogation video. Given his history with Diddy, I don't trust his daughter being on this case. Huh. You know, Black Gold 347, I do not remember that. I do know someone said that yesterday. I do remember someone had told me this yesterday. But I did not remember specifically Jonathan Oddie mentioning Mark Garagos. I am going to have to go back and listen to that and watch that again. Thanks so much for that $4.99 super chat. Really appreciate that too. Pippi said no. She is not the reason he won that case. She is a stand-in. I don't know. She is a very good lawyer, CMT said. It's going to get sticky. Shala Custom Design said, I hope Adi is safe. He said some stuff about Garagos. Garagos was a lawyer involved in the Easteen files too, was he? Did not know that. Did not hear that. Maybe I did. I don't know. Yes, the lawyer Mr. Steele works with on the Young Thug trial. Okay, interesting. Let's see if any new tweets have come in. Like I told y'all we were going to catch up. I thought we had even more time. I have to start later tomorrow. Okay, we got 2 new tweets. Remember the last tweet that we read was this juror perspective, potential juror number 216. He's like the New York City transit officer. He said, one of my sisters said she was assaulted in college. Another one of my sisters said she was abused by our stepfather. Y'all, one thing I got to say, and it is, I wish I could say it's shocking. I wish I could say it's alarming, but so many of these people have said that they or their significant other has been, or their sister or somebody has been assaulted by a family member. Remember the other guy? He was like, but because of our culture, it was covered up. It was an uncle. Now he's saying my sister said that she was abused by our own stepfather. We never talked about it. She was accused of stabbing her husband. I had to pick up her kids from the precinct. They're separated now, but I wasn't there. Huh. That sucks. So the lady that says that she was abused by the stepfather, she ends up assaulting her own husband, and they have kids together. They get separated. He had to pick her up from the precinct. The feds pass forward a question. Okay. And the judge, I guess, is reading the feds' question. The judge says, when your sneakers were stolen, did you feel the police didn't do enough? The juror said, at that time, yeah, I did. I felt like they didn't do enough. The judge said, do you have issues with the police? Juror, good question. The juror says, what do you mean issues with the police? The judge said, can you be fair? He said, yeah. Okay. We got a new tweet and it's about YouTube. One of y'all said yesterday, what if one of these jurors says, yeah, I saw that surprise witness. Woo! Okay, we have a tweet about YouTube coming in 1 minute ago. The judge said, you learned about the case on YouTube? Juror 216 said, that's how I get my news. I saw the incident by the elevator in the hotel and I don't really remember how I felt about it. That's how he gets his news. YouTube, this is fun. He said, that's how I get my news. I saw the incident. I saw the tape. Okay, so this is another prospective juror that has seen the tape. Not only did they see it, but they had feelings about it. This man said, I don't remember how I felt about it, though. The assistant U.S. attorney said, we moved to strike for cause because he's had negative interactions with the police. Imagine being excluded from a jury because the police gave you reason not to like them. I mean, this is what happens every day. This is what happens every day. The feds are like, oh no, the police beat the hell out of him, or the police didn't help him find his stolen property, so he should be excluded. Woo! I know people don't like to sit for jury duty though. Okay, that is the most recent. Now, I did learn about a new. It's not new. It's not new. But I learned it's new to me about somebody who covers these cases. She's a court reporter. And I told her that I would I just got distracted by a picture from the Met Gala. It is no, girl. Let me find this lady. She's a court reporter, and she did she even messaged me. Infamous Sylvia. Have y'all heard of Infamous Sylvia? Infamous Sylvia. She's covering this case. Yeah, look, let me show y'all. This is her Twitter. I'm gonna go to her YouTube. It's her right here. She's wife, mother, lifestyle YouTuber, and court vlogger. Follow the daily #Young Thug, #YSL trial coverage. Subscribe to Infamous Sylvia for exclusive interviews. She had interviewed Young Thug's dad all the way back in 2022. She reshared this from 4 hours ago. Diddy selection, Diddy docket amid jury selection day 2, notice of appearance of Nicole Westmoreland from the YSL trial. And this makes sense for Infamous Sylvia because it seems to be that she covered that trial very closely. Does she have a YouTube channel? People are saying y'all haven't heard of her. Some people have. Must not be that infamous. Well, I don't know, y'all. I mean, it looks like she's covering this stuff. So let me see if she said anything about maybe like the case yesterday. I'm going to YouTube and see if she's made a video. Infamous Sylvia is live 7 hours ago. Oh my gosh, she's cute. It's loud, girl. Okay. Streamed 18 hours ago. Oh my gosh, look at she slay. Stop it. Oh my gosh, this is gold. Okay, I'm gonna have to go watch through this on my own time because obviously it is long. There's like 3.5 hours vlog. But look at this. She's outside the court and someone is in here describing what Diddy looked like. She said he was slim. He looked like he's wasting away. Hold on, I'm reading some of y'all stuff. She covered R. Kelly trial and Cardi B. Okay. Oh my gosh. Slay. She's on the lead attorney channel. I don't know what that is. She covered the YSL trial. She was in YSL court reporter pool. She is in trouble, somebody said, about Shirley Strawberry ex-husband Ernesto. I don't know about Shirley Strawberry case. I only follow 4 or 5 legal channels. She's not one of them. Well, I mean, look, she's out here. I mean, she can stuff from inside the court. I don't have to watch her stuff. Hadn't heard of her before. Me neither, but I did follow her on Twitter. Let me see. She gets in the courtroom and YouTube reports. She stays in trouble. They do not like us reporting what's going on in court in some of these courtrooms. It does seem like Judge Subramanian is pretty good though about it. She visited Ernesto Williams in jail to pray. Well, good. I don't know who Ernesto Williams is. 3 hours, 21 minutes. Well, listen, let me tell y'all something about pending harassment and stalking charges. That don't mean shit to me. Want to know why? Because I had a group of lunatics, literally lunatics that should probably be locked up and put in jail, lie under penalty of perjury. Innocent until proven guilty, but I mean, that's my opinion. Under penalty of perjury, they lied. They lied about me. They said I did all kind of stuff that not only I definitely didn't do, I literally had done the opposite of that. And so they were out here saying stuff like this. V. Lenore, they were saying, she has a pending stalking charge. She has a pending harassment charge. And it was just false. It was just false. It was just character assassination. So unfortunately, because there are people who lie and it doesn't seem like they even know how to tell the truth. I don't give a rat's flying rat's ass if somebody has a pending charge against them, unless I saw a video, unless I saw some evidence. And even then, I might not believe it because stuff could be AI. Okay. I have had people lie with so much confidence about me in court documents. And you know what? They faced absolutely no consequences at all whatsoever. I'm the one that's like up to $1 million in legal fees trying to defend my good name against these lying sociopaths. Okay. So for me, I don't give a flying rat's ass about a pending charge until it actually is like not pending anymore. And in fact, and indeed, it makes me wonder if if she herself is a target of harassment for reporting on this stuff. That's really my first thought. And if y'all don't like that, that's my first thought. Please donate to the legal fund because I'm traumatized by it. And that's why. That's why it's my first thought, because I'm literally traumatized by these sociopaths. Okay. So even this comment right here, it's like, actually, it makes me want to be more on the side of impressive Sylvia. Infamous Sylvia. That's just my feelings. I'm allowed to have feelings. I'm allowed to have opinions. Okay. For some reason, I keep thinking R. Kelly died. Who's friends with Brian Steele? Who is it? The fact the government doesn't have one person of color on it look bad. It gives racist, especially since Diddy's team may use the race card. I do see where you're coming from, Cassandra. What I will tell you is people of color in general are admittedly very underrepresented in the legal profession. There's many reasons for this. Some self-selection, some systemic. Okay, absolutely. You won't get argument against that, from me. But a lot of times when there are people of color in the legal profession, they don't want to work for the feds, not because of any political ideology, but because there's so few people of color in the legal profession that they kind of get, they self-select into higher paying positions a lot of times. And a lot of times they're getting like, when I was getting jobs and stuff, I don't know what's going on right now, but they're not necessarily like trying to rush to be a federal prosecutor or a federal defender. They probably usually, in my experience, I went to law school again. Like there were six Black men in my whole law school class. Okay. Like the tiniest amount. Okay. Now this is all people of color versus Black. So I do see what you're saying, Cassandra. I do, absolutely do. And if I were like a person of color, which I don't know, because I never have been, I don't know what I would do, but if I can just imagine, maybe I would be a little suspicious. Y'all couldn't get one person of color on the prosecution team, but we don't know why that is. Maybe some of the people of color at the prosecution are like, I like Diddy. I'm not going against a Black man. Who knows? We don't really know, but I do hear you. I'm not disagreeing with you. That being said, it isn't necessarily that it was like on purpose in this particular position. Like, don't put any people of color on Diddy. But it could have been. And if it was, that would be illegal. So if they did that, they should go to jail. Oh, wow. Someone hate you. Thank you for the $1.99 super sticker. Thank you for the $1.99 super sticker again. Love you, mean it. I'll be doing that hate you thing. But thanks so much for the $1.99 and the $1.99. And Tubaka says she is targeted. And she knows she is. Damian Williams resigned. She looked like Lauren from the Breakfast Club. She does kind of look familiar and kind of famous. Oh, wait. Yeah. Hold on. I don't know about showing anything to a witness. I don't know. I mean, people just come in here saying anything. They have an entire women legal prosecution team. True. Wait, do they? No. It is a lot of women. Don't let subscribers paint narratives about Sylvia. Look, listen, I always have my antenna up and I always have my radar up for AstroTurf and bots against truly independent creators. Obvious to me that Sylvia is a truly independent content creator. It's obvious to, I don't have to look far. I mean, I know what signs to look for. So I always have my antennas up because the traditional mainstream media has now moved into YouTube. There are YouTubers on here pretending like they are independent. They're pretending they're LARPing. They're pretending like they're just sitting in their house doing YouTube. It's not what's going on. They were set up. They're hired. They're employees. Somebody's doing their videos. Somebody's editing. Somebody's filming. Somebody's doing everything for them. They show up like it's a job. They clock in, they talk, and they leave. A lot of people are pretending like they're doing what I'm doing and they're doing what Sylvia's doing. That's not what they're doing. So whenever somebody is really, truly independent and the signs are very clear and obvious, like this is an up and down vertical video for 3 hours and 21 minutes for years and years on end, I know what I'm looking at. So I already have my antenna up for people trying to AstroTurf and bot through my comments. Don't worry. Don't worry. And if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. Thanks so much for the $1.99. I had the same thing. Almost had a PFA put on me. I don't know what that is. I do not know what that is. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Reading some of y'all's comments. Okay, let's see. Let's see if there's new tweets. We're only getting tweets every like 5-10 minutes. So I just hate that feeling of sitting there and like refreshing and refreshing and refreshing. Okay. So this guy said, okay. So the most recent tweet I think we read was this one about YouTube. The guy said, Juror 216. He said, I learned about the Diddy case on YouTube and that's how I get my news. I saw the incident by the elevator, he said. I don't really remember how I felt about it. And then he leaves. The feds were like, get rid of him. Get rid of this guy. We want to strike him. He's had negative interactions with the police. Agnifilo said, no, we object. We don't want to strike him. We like people that had negative interactions with the police. We want people that don't like the police, actually. That's basically, what Agnifilo's thinking. I don't really know. He said he's grown up. He gave answers that were honest and revealing. Stop and frisk was controversial. True. It was. Wasn't it ruled unconstitutional as it was applied? I believe it was. Those so-called Terry stops. Agnifilo said, look, so what? The guy was mad. He got stop and frisked. That was really controversial. I would be mad too. Don't you remember, Your Honor? It was unconstitutional. The judge said there were 3 interactions with law enforcement, though. Agnifilo wasn't just one thing. So there are 3 interactions. The 2010 one for harassing an officer. Agnifilo said we could redo. The Fed said he was arrested twice after his so-called epiphany. Agnifilo said he put it in the questionnaire. We could bring him back. The judge said, let's do 217 first. So 217 comes out, and she said, I didn't have any yes answers. She answered yes to none of this stuff. The judge said, okay, goodbye, get out of here. So she's still in 217. All right, that was 4 minutes ago. Let's see if we have any new tweets. No. So juror 217 is still in. 216 we don't know about. We don't know if 216 is going to be in or not. It seems like Mark Agnifilo wants to call him back in. Or her, him or her. It's him, the one who had the negative interactions with the police. 217 HRC said is an example of a skipped one from yesterday. I don't think so. I think yesterday. Oh, I see. So they come in and they leave back. No, they came in though. Reading some of y'all's. Yes, EH Bunny. It was actually ruled to be. It isn't just like, a lot of people call things racist today that, could be up for debate. No. This stop and frisk thing was absolutely, it was determined by the Supreme Court. Like, it was so race-based. It was so egregious, y'all. It was not even close. It was not even close to the line. It was so far beyond and past the line. It was like a racist program. like, period. I mean, that's my opinion. That's what the Supreme Court said. You can make your own opinion. Okay, let's see if there's anything new. Also want to check the docket again, because maybe something was filed during lunch. 1 minute ago, they called back juror 216. The one with the interactions with the police. What was the third incident? They were shutting down a party. The officer pushed me and I pushed him back. The judge said, I'm not going to strike him. Woo, that would be controversial. If I was the feds, I would probably move to strike this guy. If I were Diddy and Agnifilo, I would want to keep this guy in, because this guy is probably going to play straight down the middle, if not maybe be defense, like pro defense, because he has had experiences, plural, over decades with police officers that he probably deemed to be unfair. So in his experience and his mindset, he has reason to believe or reason to know that, cops are not always fair. Cops are not always believable. They are not always the beacons of, hope and justice. Sometimes they're racist, tyrannical, et cetera, et cetera. And so that is, in my opinion, that's true. That's true. So he's, allowed to think these things. But if I were the government, I would not want this guy on my jury. But if I was Diddy, I would want this guy on my jury, right? So you got to think, you don't got to, but I like to think about it from both sides to try and anticipate maybe some arguments they might make. Okay, so we do have another juror, and we're off to a horrible start. He's got a hat on. The judge said, juror 223. Okay, he's excused. He said, you have to take your hat off. So the guy, I guess he takes his hat off. I don't know. He said, I have Crohn's disease. It attacks my bowels. He says, the bathroom once every hour. He said, the judge said, we're going to do 2 to 3 hours in a row. He said, I'm going to need to go to the bathroom at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon. The judge said, okay, no, we ain't going to be able to do all of that. You're excused. Get out of here. So this is another reason why a juror can be excused for cause. One reason is, like, they can't be impartial. And one reason is if they have a extreme medical circumstance like this. Sometimes it's like the juror can't sit for however so long without, needing to get up and walk around or whatever. Like, sometimes this is okay. Sometimes, like, I can only sit for like 2 hours, 3 hours in a row. And they're like, okay, that's fine. Because technically speaking, like, even though we kind of think of jury duty as a punishment or something, a lot of people think about it as something they don't want to do. Technically, it's like your right as well as your duty. You're not supposed to be, like, impermissibly excluded, unlawfully excluded from a jury either. So you can't really just be like, okay, this person has a disability, they're excluded. It has to be a disability that specifically affects your ability to be on the jury. And in this particular trial, the judge is saying you have to be able to sit for 3 hours, up to 3 hours, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. You can't do that. You can't be on the jury. So he's excused. He's excluded. Okay. That's the one who didn't want to take off his hat. Let's see if there's a new tweet. And then I want to head over to that docket just to see if they filed anything during lunch. I don't think they probably did, but why not just give it a little check? It logs me out. I'm having to go back through. Mm-mm. Nothing new. Nope, nothing new. So that was juror number 223. I think they are probably, like, in the middle of shuffling through, getting more Get another juror coming in. Thanks so much, Mr. Lord, for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. I was on for 3 weeks. It was a boring case. Luckily, my company paid for jury duty because not all employers do. Yes. That pretty girl said stop and frisk was incredibly unjust, but it still continues. Sadly, tensions with the CCP, this type of racial profiling, now proliferates the Asian population. Wow. Lil Rod lawsuit dismissed? I don't think so, Rosa. Actually, I think Lil Rod's lawsuit was not dismissed. Maybe the RICO charges. I can go actually check it right now. Let's see. I don't think so. I think that might have been fake news they were putting around. But maybe, I don't know. Let's go check. Somebody said Lil Rod lawsuit's been dismissed. So let me go check that out. I really don't think it has. I think it was just the RICO charges, unless something happened like very recently. Let's see. I'm looking for the lawsuit. Let's see. Jones versus Combs. Here. Looking for it here. Is this it right here? Okay. So there was something filed today. Let me pull it up. It's an order. Okay. Let's see. Maybe something happened. This is breaking Lil Rod Jones case. There's an order filed in the case today. In its March 24th opinion and order, the court directed plaintiff Rodney Jones to file a letter explaining the status of service on defendants Cuba Gooding Jr. and Justin Combs. Previously, the court had granted Jones' request for an extension of time to serve them and had set a November 8th, 2024 deadline. Jones missed that deadline without effectuating service. Jones now moves this court to allow alternative service by means of publication in 2 newspapers. In support, he filed a proposed order, an affidavit from his lawyer, which is Tyrone Blackburn, and documentation of unsuccessful attempts to serve Cuba Gooding Jr. and Christian Combs. Is it Christian? Justin, excuse me. Justin Combs. Justin, not Christian. The federal rule of civil procedure dictates how a person within the United States must be served. Service may be made by following state law for serving a summons in action brought in court's general jurisdiction, the state where the district court is located, or where service is made. Pursuant to New York civil practice law, the rules say service can be made by personal delivery or combination of mailing and delivery to suitable representative at the recipient's home or place of business. But if the service cannot be made under those methods with due diligence, nail and mail service is authorized. Only if service is impracticable, though. So service has to be impracticable under the previous 3 methods. So you got to try all 3 of those first. Okay, first things first, serve it on them in their house, personal delivery, or mailing and delivery to a suitable representative, if you can find a representative, at the recipient's home or place of business. But if service cannot be made under those methods, you have to use due diligence. You can't just willy-nilly out here. You have to actually try. Then you can do what's called nail and mail service. But you can only do this if service is, quote, impracticable. You have to have tried all those 3 methods, and then you can make service in the manner in which the court directs. They define impracticable as depending on the facts and the circumstances of the case. Section 308 does not require proof of due diligence or actual prior attempts, but in general, a plaintiff has to make some type of showing that he practiced due diligence in trying to serve the notice. Mere conclusory assertions about it being difficult is not good enough. Regarding Cuba Gooding Jr., Mr. Blackburn, that's Tyrone Blackburn, provides documentation of attempts to effect service at 3 addresses in California. He sent a process server to the 3rd address only after the November 8th deadline had already passed, despite previously claiming that he attempted to serve Cuba Gooding Jr. in New York. He provides no documentation for any attempts. He did not attempt to serve Gooding in Florida, despite acknowledging that similar attempts were successful in other cases. Nor does Tyrone Blackburn provide evidence that nail and mail service is impracticable, as would be required for the court to approve alternative service. Okay, interesting. Regarding Justin Combs, Blackburn provides a transcript of his correspondence with a process service provider, showing that attempts to effect service using a process server began in October. Tyrone Blackburn first provided the process server with 2 incorrect addresses. Oh, man. Blackburn then provided a third address at 7:46 p.m. on November 6, 2024, 2 days before the deadline of this court. The process server did attempt to serve the documents the next day and confirmed that Justin Combs resides there, but he was not able to access the address because of the gate, the fence. That afternoon, Blackburn correctly instructed the process server to leave the summons and complaint with a security guard at the property if unable to reach Justin. However, despite Blackburn's instructions, the process server responded later that day, saying service to the security guard front desk personnel will not be accepted by your court. Blackburn did not respond. So the process server reaches back out to Tyrone Blackburn that very day. He said, "Hey, Tyrone, you remember how you told me to drop off this summons for Justin with a security guard? The security guard said that won't work, and the court won't accept that. Like, you got to give it to Justin in his hands." That's what the process server, the person who showed up to say, "Hey, you've been served," and run away, that guy, the person you hire, he's like, "Oh no, I can't just give it to a security guard. The judge isn't going to let that happen." The process server again attempted service the next day, but he did not leave the papers with Justin's security guard. The process server informed Tyrone Blackburn, but despite the November 8th deadline, Blackburn did not respond until the next day. At that time, Blackburn reiterated that service could be made by leaving the summons and complaint with a security guard. He told the process server, "Let me worry about the court rule, and you worry about serving the documents." Okay, well, that seems fine. Blackburn and the process server continued to argue, and at one point, Blackburn changed the service location to the address next door without explanation, but the papers were never left with the security guard or otherwise delivered to Combs' address. In sum, for both Gooding and Justin Combs, Blackburn waited until the service deadline was imminent to make meaningful efforts to effect service, and then he failed to notify the court or request a further extension when his efforts failed. The court therefore determines that plaintiff has not shown good cause for failing to serve Cuba Gooding Jr. and Justin Combs as required by the rule. Accordingly, his motion to effectuate service by alternative means is denied, and his claims are dismissed without prejudice, only as to against Gooding Jr. and Justin Combs. The clerk of court is directed to close the motion at docket 91, terminate Cuba Gooding Jr. and Justin Combs as parties to this action. Okay, so the case, kind of true, dismissed, but only as to against Justin Combs and Cuba Gooding Jr. The case is not dismissed as to reading somebody else's comments. The case is not dismissed as to Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. Okay, so let's see if we have any new tweets from Inner City Press from inside the courtroom. Okay, the most recent tweet that we read was the one from 12 minutes ago where Juror 223 had Crohn's, Crohn's disease that attacks his bowels, and he needed the bathroom once an hour. So that was the most recent. He got excused for cause. It was like a medical emergency type of situation. He's not going to be able to fulfill the duties of a juror. Okay, so then we have a juror number 227. What is this? Okay, so 227, there's no context here, so I don't know what this is about, but it looks like it goes real fast. Juror 227 says, the list, I don't know. The judge goes, "I'm going to excuse you for cause." I don't know what the cause was. Then a new juror, potential juror comes in, juror number 230. We're already up to 230. So 230 people have in some way been vetted through this process, whether it be they didn't even make it past the questionnaire and get called in to voir dire, or maybe they did get called in and they got kicked out on the first round of questions. I mean, 230, that's what they're on. So he's talking to the witness stand. The judge says, "What are you reading?" Juror 230 said, "David Sedaris." The judge said, "Can you discuss sexual matters with others?" Juror 230 says, "Yes." Agnifilo passes a question forward. So Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, he passes a question forward on a little notepad or whatever, no, a notebook or whatever, sticky note. The judge said, "You wrote that you understand Mr. Combs was accused by a producer, the Lil Rod Jones." We just read that. You understand that okay, so he wrote, juror number 230. He wrote in his questionnaire that he, quote, understands Mr. Combs was accused by a producer of forcing the producer into having relations. I think I heard it on NPR. I don't really care for celebrity news. I'm an engineer. He's in. He stays in. He goes forward. Now, is he in? Is he definitely going to be one of the jurors? No. They still have peremptory strikes, but for cause strikes, I guess they're not going to make any for cause objections. Let's see. 58 seconds ago, we have another new tweet. This one, excuse me. This one is female juror, like I said. Oh man. This is crazy. Wait, what even is this sentence? Okay, so she's excused, but it says, "I can't speak about sex. In school, a teacher brought up blow you know what's, and I fainted." The judge said, "Okay, you're excused to get out of here." Another potential juror comes in, juror 240. "I saw social media, nothing too deep. A video at the hotel, that was about it. Everything is circumstantial." This sounds like somebody who's trying to be on this jury. Okay, that's the most recent tweet. It was about 2 minutes ago. A juror was excluded, and then there was this juror 240, a male. He did see some stuff about the trial on social media, but he's like, "Oh, nothing too deep. Everything's circumstantial." But I did see the video in the hotel. But that was it. So many people saw the CNN video. So many people saw it in this jury pool. I mean, like, I'm a little bit surprised. Just looking through his tweets. I think that was the most recent one. One lady was like, "I can't talk about it." But I'm curious why the teacher would bring something like that up. Let me find out the teacher was talking about that in my kids' class and they fainted. I'm gonna be upset. So yeah, I mean, they're probably just waiting to bring in a new potential prospective juror, but yeah, they did exclude this lady. She said she can't talk about it. They excluded the man with the Crohn's. They left in juror 230, who said he heard about the case. He's an engineer. He heard about the case on NPR, but he didn't hear about the criminal case. He heard about the Lil Rod Jones lawsuit. And Lil Rod Jones lawsuit is still alive and well. However, the lawsuit is not alive and well as to against Justin Combs and as to against Cuba Gooding Jr. And this was just filed today. This was just decided today. ordered today. I have an announcement to make. The size small tank tops are sold out. The size 2XL tank tops on the merch website are sold out. And the hoodie in 3XL is sold out. There is a little They Lied merch. Hold on. Let me make it. Close enough. Let me go to the website while we're waiting. ThatSurpriseWitness.com, often replicated, never duplicated, often imitated, never replicated, whatever that is. Yeah, they got an inflamed beast out here trying to literally steal my copyright. I mean, it's not going to work, but I mean, like, honestly, when you're God's favorite, the inflamed, obsessed freaks are constantly after you. And now their newest thing, now that their stupid fraudulent lawsuits didn't work, now they're ganging up on me and trying to steal my trademark. Do you know that somebody lied and is defrauding, in my opinion, the United States Copyright Office by saying that they own That Surprise Witness brand? Yeah, the delusion. Thanks so much for the $5 super chat. New Life Plan. Has anyone ever seen or heard Gary, the guy from the bathroom? I don't know if it's Gary or G or what. No, I mean, has anybody ever heard of Gary again? Or G. Kelly said, I got the tank top. It's super soft. Thanks so much for the $5 super chat. I also heard a witness and their lawyer are MIA. I don't know anything about that. Thanks so much for the $1.99 super chat, boy, mom times 3. New Life Plan said, Justin Combs Publishing functions just like Janice Combs Publishing. That is very, very interesting. I got to look into some emails that I got earlier. Somebody sent me some information about Janice Combs Publishing. It appears from this information I received that Janice Combs Publishing also has Lou Taylor, TriStar Sports and Entertainment's address as its business address. I got to look more into it. Thanks so much for that $5 super chat, New Life Plan. So I do want to let y'all know, I am raising money. I do need like several $100,000, like a couple $100,000. So, I mean, it's like full peak fundraising hours. I need to send so much money to my lawyers. So yeah, I mean, you can donate to the legal fund down below. If you haven't gotten your merch yet and you needed a 3XL hoodie, they sold out. If you needed a size small tank top, they also got sold out. You can't get one no more and they're not coming back. If you needed a size 2XL tank top, also it's not coming back. It's gone forever. So yep, y'all better make sure you're going to get your merch right here. We got the They Lied hoodie, the They Lied tank top, limited sizes, medium and large still got. XL, I think we still got. We got the They Lied cotton tote bag. Not cute. Anyway, on the back of it, it says BJ Investigates up under the hood too. Okay, let's see if we have any more tweets from Inner City Press inside the courtroom. Last time we looked, it was the most recent was okay, we do have a different one. We do have a new tweet, and this is still juror number 240. There's a male. He said he saw social media, nothing too deep, a video at the hotel. That was about it. Everything is circumstantial. The LA lifestyle, he said, is different than how I was brought up. The judge said, what are you saying is the LA lifestyle? He said, fast and loose. I have a friend who worked for NetJets. I have a vacation in late June. I have an uncle who's a sheriff in California. Okay, hold on. I need to just some stuff. I just can't be having it up on my channel, y'all. Okay, so this person, I don't know. We'll see if the judge is going to. What's going on legally that I need $200,000? That is such a good question. I have actually a whole entire playlist, and you can go and see what these freaks have been putting me through. I mean, it is like, I wouldn't even believe it. I wouldn't even believe it if somebody told it to me and it didn't happen to me. It is so it's like, I believe in gang stalking now for sure, because it's happened to me. These obsessed freaking lunatics are obsessed. They are obsessed with me and obsessed. I really think it's demon possession. It's the only possible explanation. They have to be possessed by demon. They have to be. That's the only possible explanation in my mind. So y'all pray for him. Pray that the Legion comes out and goes back to hell where it belongs, because they have not stopped harassing me with litigation for a solid straight 2 years. And now, because they kept losing and it became so obvious that they were all working together and lying repeatedly over and over, and they kept losing, so they couldn't make their hit piece that they were trying to make. I mean, they did try it, they did make it, but it didn't work. It's never going to work. It's never going to work because they have nothing on me. They sent people, listen, they sent people to my house banging on the door with a mystery box. Could have been anthrax for all I goddamn know. And they wouldn't tell us what was in the box. Said we were getting sued. Wouldn't tell us who was suing. Wouldn't simply send the lawsuit over to the lawyers, even though they had the lawyer's address, email address, and physical address for the last year. Sent people to my house. I've been followed in the mall. I put videos up of that. Yes, I did. I have been lied about in court, but I keep winning. Actually, I got awarded $100,000 total in sanctions, anti-slap fees. Dahlia Takali owes my lawyers money, but the issue is they're never going to pay it. They're not going to pay it because they pretend like they don't have any money, but they definitely have some type of money because somehow they're staying in hotels every night. I mean, the richest people I know can't afford to stay in a hotel every single night for 3 years. It's just not adding up. Who did this? Great question. I think they should be. I mean, this is my opinion, and it's until proven guilty. I don't know. But I think it should be investigated by the federal authorities, what these people have done to me, because I think you should be able to speak in the United States of America, and you should be able to actually get people put in jail for trying to steal your copyright. I think you should be able to go to jail for that. That's my opinion. Thanks so much, Deborah, for the $2.99 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. New Life Plan, thank you for the $10. The publishing companies are the catalogs. Royalties for the former artists, that worked with Puff, that he held until they died or he was going away, for exchanges as NDAs, just donated. Good luck. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, and thank you for the donation to the legal fund. The publishing companies, Janice Combs Publishing and Justin Combs Publishing, is what you're saying, are the catalogs for and royalties for the former artists that worked with Puff. So this feels like this would be Lou Taylor related. I mean, this is right in her wheelhouse. This is what she does, right? For the former artists that worked with Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs that he held until they died. Interesting. I have to look into that. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, yes, Auntie Sylvia, they are in here trying to, but I didn't let it happen. Okay, I said no. Y'all ain't gonna drag her in here until I see some kind of type of proof. I see the gang stalkers are here to drag my name after I mentioned how grateful I was after seeing you shared my. Yes, no, same thing. They're gonna drag my name too. Don't worry, Miss Sylvia, they're gonna drag my name too. Here they come. They're gonna tell you I did all kind of stuff I didn't do. They like to lie. They like to lie, but people in here were also taking up for you a lot. Okay, so don't even worry about it. Everybody say shout out to infamous Sylvia in the house. Yes. Yeah, can a mod please drop Miss Sylvia's link if y'all don't mind. Shout out to all the independent creators. We love and appreciate you. Thank you. I love and appreciate the other independent creators too, because there's really not a lot of us out here. I told y'all there's a lot of people out here that are acting and pretending and LARPing. They are no different from the Chloe Malos that you know and or love and or hates. Okay. We got another tweet. Same juror, right? He was talking about the LA lifestyle being fast and loose. He said, I can't speak about, okay, wait. I'm an airplane pilot. Which airline? American airline. He leaves. Diddy's lawyer says, we got to get rid of him. Get him out of here. You can't unring the bell. He wrote it. The judge said he was just trying to be honest. I'm not excluding him. Okay, wait, what did he write? Juror 240. He saw on social media, nothing too deep, a video at the hotel. That was about it. Everything is circumstantial. The LA lifestyle is different than how I was brought up, fast and loose. I have a friend who worked for NetJets. I have a vacation in late June. I have an uncle who was a sheriff. I'm an airline pilot at American. I don't know what it was, what he wrote down. They didn't really say. But Agnifilo, Diddy's side, wanted to leave him off. The judge said, no, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. People are subscribing and following. In my opinion, the catalog, thank you for the $5 super chat, New Life Plan. In my opinion, the catalog publishing companies does feel like Lou. But also Mace said everything was in Puff's family's names. So he actually had no money when he was sued. Okay. Well, I don't know. Mace would know more than me. I mean, really don't know. Thanks so much for the $5 super chat, New Life Plan. People are following. Sylvia, what is it? Infamous Sylvia. Bezos. Yeah, I mean, that was so weird. And what that square-headed girlfriend had worn to the thing. Oh, Rebel Girl said my current job on an Emmy award-winning docuseries. Oh, cool. That sounds fun. Is ending soon. I think I might finally go independent and get my channel. Yes, please do, y'all. It is just such a blessing to wake up. Oh, ICP is reporting now. Cool. Okay, I'll have to go over there. Especially if you already know how to do some of this stuff, just do it. I'm thinking I might finally go independent, get my channel going for real. Too many grifters out here. ICP is reporting now. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Infamous Sylvia. That's so nice. Thank you for the $20 super chat. That is so nice. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's see. He's what else he's done said over here. Somebody said he's reporting. No, nothing new. Oh yeah. No. Nothing new. Yeah, Love Pink is asking a question. What verbiage am I missing from this tweet? He stated he was a pilot for American Airlines. What bell was wrong? I also don't know if they even always say it out loud because they're all kind of looking at these questionnaires. They know what the jurors have answered on them. So I don't even know if it was brought up. Insane Clown Posse is ICP to me. Keep lies at bay. Yes, seriously. Stuck at work, just hopping on. Chat, did I miss anything? Danielle, yes, you did. A lot of stuff is going on in here. Bean Girl said, we subscribe, girl. Lauren said, we love you. Sorry, I'm old. What's going on? Chat, did I miss anything so far? Yes, slam that like button. That'd be very helpful. Okay, let's see if anything else has happened. Looks like no. But the airline pilot is not excluded. The American Airlines airline pilot seems like a commercial pilot. Yes, it's seriously, y'all see how they come in here. Y'all see how they come in. We've gone through more jurors, maybe about 10. Yeah, I love the YouTubers that support each other. He tells you a lot about somebody. We've gone through, let's see, rich people get away with so much. Diddy should have gone down years ago. Pesa said. EHC Bunny said, 240 said the LA scene is fast and loose. He's saying Diddy played it fast and loose. Is J-Lo going to testify? Don't know. It does seem like she's going to get brought up. They said on Thursday in the pretrial conference, hearing, that Kim Porter and I'll Be Sure are expected to get brought up at trial. But does that mean like physically, obviously Kim Porter can't be brought up, like she's no longer with us, but I'll Be Sure, is he going to be brought up to testify or not? I do not know. But they said it seemed to be implied that his story, as far as like with Kim Porter and stuff, would be brought up. Do you know how many were picked? I don't think any were officially picked yet. Angela, was J-Lo on the list? It must be. I don't know, but I feel like probably. I challenge the pilot juror. Too much happening around that right now. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but it seems like you might know more than me. The judge is a man. His name is Arun Subramanian. And so far from what I've seen, I mean, y'all can put in the chat, y'all can put in the comments if you disagree or if you agree. From what I've seen, I do think this judge pretty fair. I think he hasn't really been like too pro either side. I think both sides have gotten what they wanted. Both sides have had motions denied. It seems like this judge always does seem, in my, like off the top of my head, always seems to have a pretty good reason for doing stuff. He provides his reasons. I wonder if they can make his kids testify. Corey Gamble. I don't know. I don't know if Corey Gamble has anything to do with this. I don't know if he's on the list. Are they still having a hard time getting hold of the third witness? Okay, so Susie, this is interesting you say this. I don't know if they're having a hard time getting a hold of her, although I do think this is now starting to be a rumor that is swirling. But what I can tell you is it was asked on Thursday on the pre-trial conference. The judge or somebody asked, like, are you going to call up witness 3 to testify? The Fed said, I don't know. The feds said, I do not know. But if we do, it's going to be in the second half of the trial. And then today, they filed a document that said they no longer plan to elicit the evidence at trial from victim 3. So maybe they're just letting her go. Maybe she said she doesn't want to testify. A lot of this stuff is behind redaction bars. Okay, so I don't really know. There's rumors going around that she's allegedly missing. It's all I can tell y'all for sure is what was filed in this case. And what was filed, it doesn't seem to say she was missing. It seems to say the government just no longer wants to elicit the testimony from her. But could it be because she's missing? I mean, I guess it could be. Yes. Okay. So Christine is like, yeah, so far so good on the judge. They're saying witness 3 is supposedly missing, but y'all, as far as I am concerned, that's rumors. That isn't stated on the court record. However, that does not mean rumors cannot be true. Rumors could be true. Was witness 3 the one who they said would not use a pseudonym? I think so. I don't exactly remember. It was 2 or 3. Did he miss the Met Gala? Yes, he did. JL said she ain't missing. They said they may use her in the second half. They did say that. That doesn't mean she's not missing, but they did say that. I'm not saying she is either, y'all. I'm saying I don't know. It's just rumors right now. I think she's not. Officially, she's not. But I don't know. I know I did cover this, Maggie. Corey Gamble was at the scene of Kim Porter's Unalive with Diddy, boyfriend of Kris Jenner. Yes, and last night, Jay-Z and Kris Jenner were together. Just yesterday, I saw a video. I mean, it was posted yesterday. I don't know if it was actually yesterday. I can pull that up. I think witness 3 is Gina. Is that Hun? I don't know how to say that. Sorry. Is that the makeup artist that witnessed this hotel incident with Cassie? Who wasn't at the Met Gala? Those K's are so sus. Who's K's? The Kardashians? I don't know what that means. Yeah, that's her. They're saying, okay, the makeup artist that was like with Cassie in the room that night where he like allegedly busted in. Oh no, ex-girlfriend, Gina Huynh. Yeah, no, true. She would have to be an ex-girlfriend. That can't be the makeup artist. It's an ex-girlfriend, they saying. Huynh. Oh, that's how she says it. Good. Okay, let's see if there's any new tweets. Yes, there is. There are. Okay. So the airline pilot for American Airlines so far is still in. And then we moved on 4 minutes ago. New juror walks in, prospective juror 242. He says, I'm involved in a personal injury case. I was assaulted in my father's house in Queens Village, assault by my stepmother. So there was a DV incident, interfamilial stepmother. I'm in a probate case. My late father's estate. What did I say at the beginning of this live? These estate courts are satanic. That's all I could say. I'm like, worse than satanic. Like, they're just horrible. People can't even get their inheritance no more, y'all. Your parent, and I'm not even sitting here saying like, okay, you should, billionaires shouldn't pay taxes and stuff. Okay, that ain't what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You work your whole entire life. You want to leave your kid like a little one thing, little house. Little something you worked your whole life for, you want to leave it to your child. And then as soon as you die in, people are contesting the will. People are saying you're not entitled to anything. You're fighting. Your parent is dead. Also, you're in like one of the most horrible like mental states ever. And they would just take your stuff right out from under you. These probate cases are horrible. It is horrible. It is unconscionable. And then these cases always get sealed. They always get sealed from the public. It's like if you're going to get the government involved, you're going to get we the people's institution involved. You're not going to show us what's going on in there. So this guy's getting beat up by his stepmom. And then he has to fight with her over the dad's estate. Jesus. The judge said, you have an M&A transaction. You are excused. So this must be some type of lawyer. Because he has a mergers and acquisitions transaction. And also, he's in a probate case. It seems like he's a lawyer. He's excluded anyway. And then we got another tweet just 30 seconds ago. Now, that was juror number 242. We skipped 5. Now we're at 247. I saw the video. Or maybe we skipped 3. 242. We skipped 43, 44, 45, and 46. So we skipped 4, and now they're on juror 247. I saw the video. The elevator. But I can be fair. He leaves. Another juror. 252. Another male. He says, I work at the New York City Department of Investigation. My fiance does too. We look into bid rigging, stolen time, and fraud against the city. Okay, so they work at the New York City Department of Investigation. Her and her fiance, or he and his fiance, they both work at the Department of New York City Department of Investigation. What they look into is like whenever the city has to do bids on contracts. So say the city needs to hire, some electricians to do electrician work or get some trees cut down or whatever. They're supposed to take bids, and whoever gets the lowest bid, who could actually do the job, should get the contract. Because they would be saving money for the city and the taxpayers, et cetera, et cetera. But, you can't give the job to somebody that, like, if you only have one saw at your company, you're going to need to cut down, 1,000 trees or plant 1,000 trees, whatever. The government is allowed to only hire, if someone's qualified to do it. But once someone's qualified, you can't just hand out the job to your best friend. That would be corruption. This is what Adam Graham Mason's dad went to jail for, from what I understand. No Jumper 22. It was like, kind of giving special friend contracts out. That's from what I understand. Maybe I'm mistaken. Y'all can go look that up in the public record. This is just a lie. This is off the top of my memory. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So these people, this prospective juror, number 252, he works in the Department of New York City, where they look into making sure that there is no financial corruption. We look into the rigging the bids. We look into people that are stealing time from the city, people that are riding the clock. And we look into any allegation of fraud against the city. That is the most recent tweet. Yeah, you can do it if your name's Tiffany Henyard, the worst mayor of all time or whatever. Worst mayor in America. Just seeing how mean people, family can get over politics and money, Meg. It's sad. It makes me want to stay off social media. It's indeed. They give contracts to buddies. That happened to my mom. Now see, I don't want to be in anybody's will. I don't want nothing. Leave me a little shirt, maybe your favorite teacup or something. Don't even leave me the favorite one. I don't want to fight anybody over that. Give me one you don't even like that much. I don't want it, because I've seen this too, Mindful Vibes. Like, whole families fall apart over this. And it's so stupid. It's like money shouldn't make you fall apart like this, and items and material possessions, especially whenever somebody died. Somebody that you all loved, somebody that was a really important part of your life, someone who maybe raised you. So I want nothing to do with it. But Mindful Vibes is saying it happened to my mom. Now her and her siblings don't even talk. Probate court does ruin families. Absolutely. Mindful Vibes. Look what it's done to Wendy Williams and her family. Did they have all these problems before? They had some, I'm sure. You guys have no idea, the Real Sassafras says. My friend just lost her kid for 5 years this morning. We have been fighting for 5 years in court. See? Yep, I don't speak to him now, Empowered Wendy said. I said, keep it. I'll make 9 on social media. I have put everything in each one of my kids' name in my will, so there's no fighting. Well, we hope, sure. A lot of people think they have wills. Yep. Extortion and human tea are the number one commodities. And it's true. It's true in this country. And the family law court system and probate court system are the biggest proponent. Yep. And that, I believe, is who's really coming after me. Because if you look at the common thread that's run through my coverage ever since I started, I am obviously very suspicious of conservatorships. And in particular for these high net worth individuals, because it just seems kind of like scammy in a lot of these cases, in my opinion. Jules said money destroyed my family. Meg, I don't want anything. Yes, no U-Hauls go to grave. Exactly. No U-Hauls can come with you to the grave. My husband and I are making quilts for, I tell my parent, my dad's dead already, but he didn't leave me nothing. A few shirts and some boots and stuff. I did not get any money. Probate is coming. It's awful. But I told my mom, don't leave me nothing. I said, spend everything. Don't even leave a penny in your bank account. Spend all your money. Spend it all, girl. Because I don't want to go through it. Leave me a little shirt or something. Okay, we got no new tweets. The most recent tweet we have is the one where the guy has the fiance who works, he and his fiance work in the New York City Department of Investigations. Yeah, I mean, I guess I really didn't have to go to law school doing what I do now, but I am so glad I did. And I do think I did, because I like to have some level of certainty about some things. And having gone to law school, it does make me a little more certain. Kris Jenner was paid by Diddy through church for witness payoffs. Oh my, that's quite the allegation. I mean, these are allegations. I'm not saying, I'm reading it, but would I be in particular like surprised to find this out, that Kris Jenner paid Diddy through church for witness pay? No, I would not be surprised, but I mean, these are allegations. This is just allegations. I'm just reading somebody else's comments. Yeah, I think it does give me a leg up. Yeah. All the money these attorneys get, the more they get, it's awful. Sorry, Biscuit. I don't give legal advice. So sorry, but good luck with that. Yeah, that's horrible. I have a friend as well, been fighting for years in probate for his inheritance. What I've seen is either greed or siblings. Don't feel the other deserves it. Back alley scam chat said I resented my inheritance. Interesting. As a teen. It's Caroline. Mary said it's me. Empowered Wendy said 4 years here. These people have no morality or ethics at all. It's totally money laundering service, in my opinion. Susie, I can't disagree, but innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. Okay. Let me refresh the Twitter. Maybe we got another tweet from inside the courtroom. There is a speculation. This is speculation. I'm not even saying it's my opinion. I'm reading a comment here, but there's speculation. Hillsong is a slush fund to pay off victims of famous people. That would be very interesting. I think my first video ever on BJ Investigates is about Hillsong. And it's like, is Hillsong trying to put celebrities in conservatorship? Oh, something like that. But it was my first video ever on BJ Investigates. It was about Hillsong. Mindful Vibe said, I'm glad you went to law school. Oh, girl, Wendy said, hey, oh wait, no, hold on. Sorry for your loss and betrayal. Maggie said, my 3 sisters and me already don't talk. My parents passed. I'm scared. No, AG said no. Gina's ex-girlfriend. What happened to Greg? I think he was his name. Was it Greg, Christine, or was it just G? Gary, Greg? Gina's the one that got into a Twitter fight with Young Miami. Oh, that's interesting. Donna, thanks so much I'm reading somebody else's comment. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super sticker. Thank you so much for that, Donna Burke. I really appreciate it. I always wondered about Hillsong. Okay, let's see. Okay, we do have a new tweet. Something about somebody getting poked with a WEAPON. Okay, wait. Okay, new tweet 2 minutes ago. Juror number 152. This is the same guy that works for the Department of Investigation with his fiance. He said, I know a couple where the girlfriend poked the boyfriend and he became no longer alive. The girlfriend, I have to say stuff like this because I don't want to get flagged, because remember when I told y'all there's those freaks, they sit in all my lives and they like mass report my videos. So I just have to make sure I'm on my, there's no gray area. Okay. So And this is the standard that they hold God's favor to, which is fine because I can walk on that standard, but my God. It's like no free speech anymore, y'all. If you sympathize, you can donate to the legal fund linked below. Juror 252 said, I know a couple where the girlfriend unalived the boyfriend by, poking him with a certain implement. He said at DOI, the Department of Investigation, I work with the Southern District of New York. It's a criminal fraud case. Inner City Press puts little notes in brackets. So look at the brackets. He says this one was almost missed. The judge said we have to strike. Okay, so this juror cannot move forward. And it appears that Inner City Press, the man, Matthew Russell Lee, he's sitting in the courtroom right now. It appears that he is saying that this little question is the reason he was struck, this potential juror, and it was almost missed. Like it almost didn't get caught. So the judge did say, no, you got to go because you're working with the Southern District of New York on a criminal fraud case already. That was 4 minutes ago. That was juror number 252. Thanks so much, Sarah, for the $5 super chat. Thank you for your coverage. You are very, very welcome. Thank you so much, The Real Sassafras, for the $4.99 super sticker. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much for that. My mom's conservatorship case has been open for 10 years. Everything was liquidated and she passed away during COVID. Money sitting in her trust account for 5 years. All bills paid first year she died. See? So sorry that happened, Veronica, and I believe it. I believe it. Threads of Hair is saying allegedly that she's heard rumors, allegations that also the Kardashian Community Church is for this as well, allegedly to pay off victims, alleged. I mean, I don't know. Y'all wasn't there. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. No, it shall not. No, it cannot. No, it may not. No, it will not. Gina did the interview with Tasha K and said that Diddy kicked a, y'all can read that, because she refused to terminate. Yes. Shout out to the mods. I don't even know which ones are in here. I definitely know Monica's in here. I see Diamond Rainbow. Shout out to you. Mods also, y'all, I'm going to be live a lot. So y'all can take breaks. Y'all don't feel obligated to be in here. What is wrong with your chair that you're up and down the whole time? Okay, before I ban you, nothing's wrong with my chair. It's a very nice chair. I don't know if you've ever heard, but like you need to move when you're sitting in one spot all day or else your body starts to hurt. So that's what I feel like doing. But I really, honestly, I don't owe you an explanation. It's very strange that you would even ask such a question. Goodbye. Trusts are easier than dealing with probate. And when I was in law school, this is what they used to say. The reason you need a trust, the reason you need a will is to stay out of probate court. If you've been to law school and you heard that, trusts and wills help you avoid probate court, quote, stay out of probate court, put a P in the chat. Put a P, capital P in the chat. If you have been to paralegal school, law school, whatever school, and you heard, make a will or make a trust to, quote, stay out of probate court. Keep you out of probate court. All that's fine and good, but you know who had a trust? You know who had a trust and they were the sole beneficiary and the sole trustee? Brittany Jean Spears. Yes, she did. And they put her in that conservatorship. They weren't supposed to be able to touch that trust. And guess what they did? They touched it. They touched it. They modified the investment strategy. I mean, they did everything you're not supposed to be able to do. They even inserted somebody else as the trustee. They inserted other people as trustee. They were trying to get Lou Taylor's Stonebridge Investment Council involved somehow. I mean, it was sick. In my opinion, it was sick. It was sick. Is it true? Yes, it's true. Yeah, I'm supposed to not move. They think look, listen, that's how y'all can know I'm not an AI. Y'all can know I'm not an AI. I'm not a robot because I got to move. I have a body. I've been to law school, but I have heard that, somebody said. Yep. Oops, sorry, so angry. Woo, P, C, look, Meg, yep, I heard it. So trusts aren't easier than dealing with probate? I think they are if they're honored. But a lot of times, Jessica, they don't get honored and then they just override what they say in the trust anyway, and they're able to get the money out. It's just like I don't really see that it really actually even really helps. We do not have any no new tweets here. The most recent thing that happened, if you are just joining, it was juror 252. He got strick. It He got struck because he's actively right now working with the Southern District of New York on a criminal fraud case. And this is just too close for comfort. It's like maybe he has too much conflicts of interest. Maybe he's not going to be able to be impartial. So the judge said, we got to get rid of this guy. He can't be a juror on the Diddy case. Too bad. Sorry about it. Let's see. That was the most recent. I'll take myself a little water break. Oh, I can't wait to show y'all my I can't wait to show y'all my video coming out soon on movement infiltration. It's about the Free Britney movement getting infiltrated by a group of I don't know, anti-activists. Maybe they were lobbyists. Maybe they worked for a PR firm. The very mysterious firm Special Counsel is going to come into view. I don't know if you've been around. If you've been around since Free Britney, put Free Britney in the chat. But if you've been following my channel since Free Britney, do you remember whenever this like lawyer group on Twitter, they were like it was kind of like not very clear exactly who was even in this Twitter account, but then they like hired an actress to fake and pretend like she was like about to be a lawyer. Her name was Noelia Rothery, but they had her go by a fake name, Jess. And then there was somebody in the Free Britney movement, Prescient, aka Shurjan, who found the whole thing, called it out, contacted this girl and said, who hired you? She was like, it was a Fiverr. It was a Fiverr assignment. I didn't even know who these people were. But there's a whole video of this girl like, hello, I'm so glad to be the newest lawyer on the team. And it wasn't a lawyer like for Britney Spears. It was like alleged lawyers who were activists, trying to be activists within the movement. But why would they be hiring actresses and instructing them to lie and say that they were about to be a lawyer and they were about to take the bar? And none of it was true. I have so many receipts from that. I cannot wait to show y'all that video. A lot of people are saying Free Britney. A lot of people have been here. Scooter Braun, I made a video about him. Will's put you in a probate court. I mean, listen, that's what it seems like. But it's not just going to probate court. It's like to keep the decision out of probate court. So if you set up the decision before the probate judge has to decide on it, then the judge just had to say, they clearly left all this money to so-and-so. There's nothing else I can do about it. That's what they're supposed to say. But a lot of times they don't. A lot of times they find reasons to invalidate wills, etc. This is the first day I've seen you, Jessica M. said. Girl, you better hit that subscribe. Clarissa said, I'm my dad's only heir. That's good. At least you're not going to have to fight with your siblings. Sorry, I mean, it's true that a trust would keep everything out of probate. Yes, but you explained why. Yeah, yeah, exactly. YouTube removed me 4 times when I said, thank you so much, Tiffany R, for the $19.99 super chat. Thank you for your coverage. I've been watching your channel since Britney. Aw, shout out to you. We've been through a lot, y'all. The people that's been with me the people that have been watching me since Free Britney, y'all have seen a lot. Started watching this during Free Britney. Just friendly reminder, YouTube sometimes blocks comments. Yes, sometimes they get blocked. Empath's Rhapsody said he was talking about the Michael Jackson contracts. I'm trying to play catch up. Oh, wait, no. I was looking at this. Jonathan Audie, I think you're saying, mentioned Garagos and Ben Masegas. I could be spelling that wrong. Few people have been telling me about that guy. It's not how I saw it spelled, but it may be that. I know what you're talking about. But I don't know who I haven't looked into him. Just reading somebody else's comments. Let's see if any new tweets have come up. No. Okay, they must be resetting or doing something because the most recent tweet was 12 minutes ago. Should we look at some news? Should we look at some news? What the news is saying? Let's see. I'm just going to type in like Diddy jury. Not jury Diddy. Diddy, jury. Oh my God. Let me show y'all what comes up. This moment in history. Diddy trial updates. Oh, this is the live updates. Let's see what USA Today has been saying. Okay. Diddy trial updates. Jury pool asked about SA. Several reference violent video. Potential jurors. This is USA Today. They're like giving quasi live updates. Potential jurors were questioned for second day today in the Diddy trial. Sweeping federal S crimes, a high profile case with ties across the entertainment industry. It's expected to stretch for months. The hip hop mogul, who at one time was among the most powerful forces in American culture, has experienced a sharp fall from grace after facing a bevy of lawsuits. Jurors on it today were repeatedly asked if they or a family member or friend have been victim of SA, SH, or domestic V, and whether they or a loved one have been charged or accused of crimes. Girl. One question was particularly interesting for some. Have you communicated to others, posted your opinion on social media online, or liked any social media posts about Diddy? If so, when and where did you post or state your opinion? As the case continues, prosecutors are also going to ask potential jurors about their feelings on law enforcement and experiences with the government. Diddy's team wants potential jurors to describe the music they like, their opinions about the hip hop and rap music industry, and the defense team's proposed questionnaire, that's Diddy's team, also suggested they want to know if the jurors are open-minded to, quote, alternative SUL lifestyles. Jurors have been questioned one by one by the judge, the prosecution, and the defense to determine whether they're qualified to serve on a Diddy's jury. During his final pretrial hearing on May 2nd, that was this past Thursday, Diddy confirmed that he did turn down a potential plea deal. The judge previously rejected a request from his legal team to delay the start of trial. Remember, he was like, I want to push it off for 2 weeks, then I want to push it off for 2 months. He could spend the rest of his life in prison if convicted. Several potential jurors have told the court they saw the much talked about video that allegedly shows Diddy beating, kicking, and dragging his ex, Cassie. Lawyers for Diddy had tried to exclude the surveillance video obtained by CNN from evidence. But the video, which the Bad Boy Records founder has since apologized for, shows him clad in a bath towel running down the hallway toward her. He strikes her, throws her to the ground, kicks her. He grabs her, drags her, throws a vase, allegedly appears. Lawyers for Diddy argue that per a forensic specialist they hired, Connor McCourt, who's also like in making documentaries and stuff, they were not able to create an accurate version of the video. The court denied the request to keep it out of trial. As the case broke for lunch, 6 potential jurors were selected to move forward out of 15 who were questioned. Okay, so before lunchtime, before the lunch break, there were 15 jurors who were questioned, and only 6 were allowed to move forward. So 9 were excluded, 6 were kept. The other 9 were dismissed. Several of those individuals don't speak fluent English, or they had medical concerns over sitting on a jury, but others were struck for potentially not being unbiased. So maybe they were biased. Let's see if any more tweets have come out of the courtroom. 2 minutes ago. Yes. Okay. Okay, we have 2 more tweets. One from 3 minutes ago, one from 2 minutes ago. Juror 257. This is a new juror. He comes in. He says, my wife was a uniformed victim advocate in the Marine Corps in South Carolina. I could be biased in favor of an alleged victim. The judge said you're excused. Okay, so this person, juror 257, he gets excused because he said he might be biased for an alleged victim because of his wife's former job. She was a victim advocate in the Marine Corps. So he gets excused. Okay, so a new juror comes in. Now we're all the way up to 261. Juror 261 says, I have difficulty with English. Okay, the judge, breaking. The judge seems to be like, why is this happening? Why are we getting people coming in here saying they having difficulty with English? Okay, why is this happening? He excused 2 people just now. 257 because he's biased in favor of an alleged victim. Wow, the judge is fussing. Okay, so sorry, I wanted to read that first. Okay, so the judge said, why is this happening? I asked the parties to agree to set aside some of these jurors with issues like this. It takes us at least 5 minutes each time, and we are running out of time. I wanted you to have time to prepare for trial. The judge is mad, okay? So, because that's 3 in a row. Boom, boom, boom. My wife was a victim advocate in the Marine Corps. I could be biased. Okay, get out of here. Dismissed. 261. I can't speak English. I have difficulty with English. Okay, get out of here. The judge, what is this happening? What is going on? What is going on? We just had to excuse this guy, but this was almost missed. So I don't think the judge is maybe mad about that. I mean, that was like a deep cut question. But I have difficulty with English. The judge said, I asked y'all to agree to set aside some of these people like this. It takes us 5 minutes each time. We're running out of trial. I'm trying to let you have time to prepare for trial, and y'all couldn't even get, okay, this is important. Now, juror 262 says, I worked for Diageo. That is the liquor company through which I think Diddy had Ciroc. One more tweet just came through 1 minute ago. Let's see what that says. Same juror that worked for Diageo says he was S8 or she when 19 years old. Judge said, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Could you be on this case? She said, I'll be biased for victim. She said, if the defense says they didn't report, I would understand why they didn't report. I didn't. I'll be biased for victims. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3. 2 out of the past 3 potential jurors have said, I cannot be on this case because I will be biased, right? We have 257, a male juror. His wife was a uniformed victim advocate in the Marine Corps, Semper Fi. He said, nope, I'm going to be biased in favor of victims. Then we have it again down here. She not only worked for Diageo, but she would be biased for alleged victims. So she's kicked out as well. So we don't have anybody in from the last 4 or 5. The last 4 or 5 have gotten stricken. Okay, let's go back up to this. That's the most recent tweet. Let me see what. Yes, Lindsay. Lindsay asks, is Diddy present in court for this? Yes, he is. Yes, he's supposed to be. I mean, I haven't heard him described today. Justice said, I challenge juror 262. I think that 262 is out. So, no need to challenge. Yeah, free Britney. Let's see if we're moving any faster. The judge is like, this is taking so long. Y'all are so stupid. Okay, that is the most recent tweet. Let me just check the docket real quick. See if anything else has been filed. If you're just joining, hi, hello. Mark Garagos got in some trouble. Or not, he didn't get in trouble yet. But it appears that the government, the feds, are trying to get him in trouble. They're saying he needs to stop talking about this case on Harvey Levin's podcast because he's in here advising on the jury. So he needs to be held to that standing order. I'm looking up the Diddy case. I'm looking up to see if If anything else was filed, like maybe during the break, maybe it came up. No. The government no longer intends to introduce the evidence at issue, the testimony of victim 3, I think. The motions at dockets 276 and 77 are involved. No. So that's the most recent document that was filed is 321 right there. Let's see. Do I have any new tweets? No. Most recent tweet, still 4 minutes ago. The person who said they would be one of the people who said she would be biased toward alleged victims. So she got struck. 4 to 6 p.m. docket drops. Panama Shell said, okay, Panama Shell, thank you so much. So 4 to 6 p.m. docket drops. So we're right in that. We're right in that time zone. Why do you think that though? Is that just how it normally works, or work for you, please and thank you. Just reading some of y'all's comments while we wait for the next tweet to come in. I don't know if so we're not in between jurors right now. I mean, we are in between jurors right now. 262 was just stricken. So in the last 30 minutes, we've had, let's see. So in the last 24 minutes, we've had 1, 2, 3. In the past 24 minutes, 3 people have come in and we've had 3 people not allowed to go forward. Just to give y'all a gist of some of the reasons why people were not allowed to move forward, for example, would be somebody has a graduation to go to for their son. Somebody who it would be very difficult for them to stop with the devil's lettuce, the MJ. It would be very difficult for them to stop. That person was not, asked to move forward. Somebody who apparently had an agenda, according to Diddy's lawyer, got removed, struck for cause. Somebody who has had interactions with the police also removed. 217 was allowed to move forward. So we have 217. They're allowed to move forward. Juror 223 has Crohn's disease. He couldn't move forward because he needs to use the bathroom every single 1 hour. And that's just not going to be feasible in this trial. Somebody who just said, the list, I don't know. The judge is like, okay, get out of here. So I don't know why he was excluded. Somebody, okay, so he was allowed in. Somebody who fainted when her high school teacher blew up a certain S act, she was excluded because she can't talk about sex out loud. Somebody who Okay, so that person was allowed in. Somebody in a personal injury case who was assaulted by the stepmother in the probate case, father's estate. The judge said, no, you have an M&A transaction. So I think he was a lawyer or a paralegal or something of some type. He had like a thing that he couldn't miss for work. So he was excluded. That's one of the reasons the judge is excluding people, is because they have work. They can't get out of it. Somebody who's working with the SDNY, they work at the Department of Investigations at New York City Department of Investigations, but they're working on a case right now of criminal fraud with the SDNY. So conflict, they got excluded. Somebody said they couldn't be fair because they would probably be biased in favor of an alleged victim. That person was excluded. A person who has trouble with English. I think a couple people who had trouble with English might have been, no. There's one who had trouble with English, was excluded, but one was allowed to go through. And the judge said if the government doesn't want them in, they're going to have to use one of their challenges, their peremptory strikes. I was SA when I was 19. This person would also be biased toward alleged victims. So again, y'all, I do want to say just 2 tweets ago, this was tweeted 12 minutes ago. 12 minutes ago, excuse me, the judge said, what is wrong with y'all? Can we stop having this happen with the people that don't even can't speak, they're in here saying they are having trouble with English. Y'all should have already handled something like that before it got in front of me. Okay. We're wasting time. We're running out of time. I wanted you to be done with this in 3 days. And it's not looking like it's going to happen because y'all are not doing the things you're supposed to be doing 12 minutes ago. And we can kind of see this playing out because it is like 12 minutes ago since that tweet. And he does say it takes like 5 minutes every time. Can you figure it out? Thanks so much, Empaths Rhapsody, for the 149 super sticker. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Shadow Woman, for the $9.99 super sticker. Thank you so much for everyone who's given super stickers, super chats, super soaker. Wills are useless. They can be contested. I mean, Letitia, you got to try. You got to try. But I do hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying. For reasons already mentioned. It's so important, a mother's words. It's so important to pick a good jury. Just think of how I think that's racist. I mean, biased OJ's jury was. I don't know very much about the OJ case, to be honest with you. I did not follow it at all. I was 3 when it happened. I haven't really circled back. I do remember going to pick up my dad from jail. My dad got in a fight with somebody and beat him up. And then we had to go pick him up from jail. I was like 2 or 3 years old. And I remember being in the jail waiting room and looking at the TV and the OJ trial was on. I do remember that. Just one of my earliest memories was picking my dad up from the jail. Whatever. That's his demons to battle, not mine. The jury came out and said they knew he was guilty. Oh my God. Wait, but he didn't get found guilty. So at least it didn't affect him. You know, I mean, he didn't get found guilty. I mean, Kraken Studio, shout out to you, member for 7 months. Question, does the county clerk not have a responsibility to check English language competency? Why can't I say that word? Competency? I don't know whose responsibility this is. This is a good question I can add for my teacher, one of my teachers. Okay, let me do number 2. English competency. At what level should that have been vetted? Okay. OJ won his case because the jury was fairly mixed. Okay. Actually, no. Natural Nivea said seeing your father like that must have sparked that lawyer ambition. And maybe in some cases, definitely not this one, because my dad was very, very rowdy and he was a fighter. That's what he would just beat people up. He would just fight. And I think maybe from childhood trauma, whatever. I mean, I could get into the psychoanalysis if I really needed to. I don't know. It would just be guessing. But like, I think even then I was like, yeah, my dad probably beat somebody. He probably like knocked somebody's teeth in the back of their throat. Like that was like, yeah, I mean, no, the question becomes like, was that healthy for me to grow up around and see and know about? No, absolutely not. But I do say it all the time to y'all. Like, yeah, no, I mean, this is like one of the adverse childhood experience questions. Like, was one of your parents ever in jail? And it like affects you, you know. Luckily and thankfully, he was just in there for like, you know, he got arrested, put in jail, we picked him up, and this happened a few times. But yeah, no, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not the only one. And I'm not a victim because of it. That's him, you know. I mean, honestly, my dad being like that and being like a fighter like that, that's kind of what helped me and allowed me to develop and say what I wanted to say and do what I wanted to do, because I knew that I could say whatever I wanted to say, because if somebody had a problem with it, they could do it with my dad. So, I mean, I got benefits from it too. I don't encourage or condone that kind of behavior. He committed a crime. He went to jail, and that's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. Thank you so much, Nakia Simone, for the $3.99 super sticker. Thanks so much, Meat Beep. We're so grateful for all you do. Thank you for that $4.99 super sticker. Thanks so much for being you. God did a great job choosing his favorite. Amen, girl. Thank you again for that $4.99 super chat. Okay, let's see if there's a new tweet. Okay. Yes, there are. A new tweet 59 seconds ago. Okay, so now they are being questioned as a group. Juror 131 said, I'm 65 years old. I live alone in Westchester. I am a manager of operations at Her Justice. I'm not married. I have no children. News? Today's Show. Oh, man. Oh, see, Today's Show, Essence Magazine. I'm not a TV person, but I do watch Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med. Oh, she got her show, y'all. She likes the Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med. Also, she likes R&B music. I don't know why I'm saying she. Could be he. I don't know. Maybe I thought it's a she because if she's manager of operations at Her Justice, it seems like maybe a women-led organization. But I guess, men can probably work there. I don't know. They don't. Did he say the gender? So there are group questions. Okay. Most recent one was 2 minutes ago, the one we just read. Juror 131, 65 years old, lives alone, Westchester, manager of operations at Her Justice. Yes, please, Angel Clement Guidry. I love saying it. Can one of the mods please? Okay, thank you, Diamond Rainbow. Diamond Rainbow has dropped the link. Thanks so much, Diamond Rainbow. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Probably a she if they read Essence Magazine. That's another good clue. Maybe that's what's giving me that impression. Guava Berry Moon. And now they will have to deal with the Lord. Amen and amen. There it is. Diamond agreed. I didn't see already mentioned the riot. I didn't see the riots. Meg, that was a factor in his decision. Let's see. That was 2 minutes ago. Let's see if we get anything else. Yes, 7 seconds ago. What is Her Justice? Legal services for women. I'm a kitchen designer. Oh, wait. Okay. I think this is a new juror who's saying, I'm a kitchen designer and my wife is an investigator for New York City homeless services. I think we heard from someone yesterday whose wife also worked somehow with the homeless services in New York City. Whitney said, I'm a Guidry too. Y'all probably cousins. Y'all are probably cousins. Okay, so then this juror, I don't know if it's still juror 131 or there's a new juror, because usually Inner City Press will put like the juror number in here, what number they are, if he's still talking about the same one. Yeah, no, this has to be a different one because this juror right here lives alone and this one right here has a wife that's an investigator. So I think it's a different juror. This juror says, I'm a kitchen designer. I think we already talked about this person or to this person. A kitchen designer, he said he was going to lose like 30% of his income to be on the jury, but the wife was suing the landlord. Maybe it's a different kitchen designer. Maybe we have 2 kitchen designers on the jury pool so far. But this person says their wife, his or her wife was an investigator, is an investigator for New York City. They have a Facebook account. I'm assuming this is this juror, not this juror's wife. They watch Law and Order. That's funny. The wife is an investigator for New York City Homeless Services, and they watch Law and Order. That tracks. They like hip hop music. Another juror, maybe the same one. I live with my wife, Judy Cho. She's a physician at Mount Sinai. That is the most recent question. Welcome to memberships. Maria, shout out to you getting that membership. The crime scene in OJ's case was so contaminated as DNA and forensics were fairly new that even if he'd been convicted, I believe he'd have gotten off an appeal. Okay, interesting. Judge said we move it in groups now. Seriously, he's trying to move it along. Yup. Amen. There it is. Be possible it was someone else. Yeah, could be someone else. Could be someone else. I don't know if it's for sure the same one. I don't remember which juror number that one was. And this one didn't even have a number assigned. I mean, I guess more than one person could be a kitchen designer. Okay, 46 seconds ago, we got another tweet from another juror. Another tweet with another statement. Looks like another juror. I watch Ohio State football. He's like, Buckeyes, go Buckeyes. Shout out to y'all. I like Dave Brubeck Group. I don't know what that is. I run. The judge said, your son is a lawyer? He said, yeah, for Mayor Brown. Juror 157 said, I'm a patient billing liaison. My wife is at TJX. I don't know what TJX is. This mic head, fill me in. What's TJX? Like TJ Maxx? No. TJX. Is that an airport? What is that? I don't know what that is. No, not an airport. I have a daughter who works with New Balance. She's a manager for the whole store. Trader Joe's? A daughter with New Balance, manager for the whole store. Trader Joe's. What is Trader Joe's? I don't know. This is like reading tea leaves sometimes, y'all. So this juror, the first one right here on this most recent tweet. Again, this is like the group questioning phase. Let me just write that one down too. What is this group questioning? Each day. Has a daughter with New Balance. So one of the, okay. So it's so hard to tell who's who. I think we just got a new tweet. Come on. Yes. Okay. We have a new tweet, Juror 157. This is the patient billing liaison, the wife at TJX, the daughter with New Balance, manager for the whole store, Trader Joe's. He said, I watch Lester Holt. I think this is the guy who's like an investigative, like unsolved mystery type of like, I'm Lester Holt. He does like one of those investigation discovery, like, what is that show that Lester Holt does? Like, I'm Lester Holt. Like, it's something like one of those murder mystery forensic file type shows. I read The Athletic, ESPN, Knicks, Mets, and Liberty. My wife watches Oh Baby. What is Oh Baby? Or they like Chicago Fire and PD. And always American Idol, he said. Somebody from my, not hometown, actually from across the tracks. From like a slightly elevated from my hometown, like on the like slightly better side of the tracks, is on American Idol this season. I need to watch his little shows or whatever. I don't remember his name. He's the one from Louisiana, Addis, Louisiana. Watch Lester Holt, watches always American Idol. He listens or dances, I guess, listens salsa, reggae, jazz if I'm stressed. Ooh, relatable. Weekend Warrior, I shoot hoops, $11.99. What's Weekend Warrior? Okay, what's Oh Baby? Somebody said that's corn. TJX is a distribution center. Okay, nice. Sean John is at TJ Maxx. But is it TJ Maxx? Is TJX the same as TJ Maxx New Life Plan? Thanks so much for the $5 super chat and for the answer. Boomer TV, somebody said. Oh, how many people they got going? We're on now they're not going in order anymore. Now that's kind of jumping all over the place. It's like 131, 157. I'm just refreshing. 38 seconds ago, we got another tweet. Now we're talking about Juror 160. I am at New York Presbyterian in Bronxville. I think that's a hospital. My husband is a software developer. I get my news from pop-ups on my phone. Okay, interesting. I read PubMed. I watch Netflix. I do not have regular TV. R&B and hip hop music. I like to dance, and I work with teens in Harlem. Winna Corbin said, Oh Baby is a Saturday morning show on network television. Interesting. Weekend warrior is military service. Okay, interesting. Jessa did say yes. TJX is TJ Maxx. Okay, good to know. Lester Holt is Dateline. Okay, TJX is TJ Maxx. Y'all are saying. So warriors, but only on the weekend. Oh, reggaeton is not the same as reggae. I don't know what the difference is. Well, I thought it was the same thing. Thought it was just an abbreviation. Bronxville Hospital is the same hospital that Usher was taken to as a young boy. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, this is allegations, right? Like, or has this been proven somewhere? Yeah, that's very interesting. What are all these things? I don't know. I mean, I thought reggae was just an abbreviation, like a shortened term for reggaeton. Just saying. Reggaeton has more of a Latin influence, they saying. Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, y'all, the more you know. Oh, reggaeton is Bad Bunny. It's got like a Latin. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, good to know. Okay, so reggaeton. Okay, this is not reggae. This is different. Okay, good to know. Okay. Let's see. So that's the most recent. 6 seconds ago. Just kidding. We got another tweet 6 seconds ago. Juror number 201. I live in Westchester alone for now. I work for Central National. My son is a security guard. I turn on 1010 to get the news. What's 1010? Y'all remember? It was Andre Harrell's entry point into the music industry. And who's Andre Harrell? Well, he's the one that gave Diddy his first shot. It was Diddy had that unpaid internship at what was it? Uptown. That's where Andre Harrell went after he was selling, like, basically, I guess, ad space. I don't really know, on Wins 1010 and Tone. Oh, it's Tone. Reggaeton? Okay, all right. Reggaeton, y'all gotta have a pronunciation guy. Need it. Look, y'all are saying, okay, good to know, y'all. Now y'all saying tune. Is it tune? Harlem is where I'm from. Tay Keela said, where Diddy had the stampede, close to City College. Oh, wow. Lester Holt is the biggest four, and y'all are mean. News radio in New York. Yes, exactly. But it's Wins, right? Capital W, capital I, capital N, capital S, Wins 1010. That is where Andre Harrell had his start. Andre Harrell ended up at Uptown. Uptown ends up taking on Diddy. Diddy ends up getting fired from Uptown. He starts his own label as an imprint under Clive Davis with a several multi-million dollar seed to start it. So I don't know, just because you get your news from that New York, radio station, does that mean you can't be biased? But I just, I like to think of the little webbings. Netflix Survivor. I do like to watch Survivor. We got a new episode coming out tomorrow. Okay. Gets the news from the radio. 1010 Wins. Netflix Survivor or Amazing Race. He likes to do woodworking. Federal Commerce Club. What in the hell is the Federal Commerce Club? Okay. Do we have anything new? That's the most recent tweet. No, it's not. We have another new one here. Another new one. I think. Yes. Okay. So that person, the 1010 Wins, Netflix, Survivor, Amazing Race, that was juror number 201. Now we are on to juror 218. Said, I'm 41. I live in Hell's Kitchen with my spouse. I'm unemployed since Thursday at WWE. Is that World? This person's funny. Okay, wait. This might be today's Spirit Weaver. Okay, this might be today's Spirit Weaver. She or he, I don't know. Wow, this is so interesting. Whoa. Okay. This person said, I am child free by choice. I'm stuck in the early 2000s emo and Billy Joel because I am my father's daughter. Yes, slay. So I guess it's a woman. I am scuba certified. The judge said, what at WWE? She said, I'm unemployed since Thursday. Just got fired Thursday or maybe finished my job or contract or whatever. The judge said, what were you doing at WWE? Because it's Vince McMahon. Unemployed since Thursday at WWE. Thursday was the date of the last hearing. Oh, it's raining outside. I hear it. Raining on the tin roof. Oh, I don't have a tin roof. Raining on the shingles. What are those things called? Shingles. I am scuba certified. So what was this person doing at WWE? This person was doing a bio on a Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I don't know what this person was doing. They were working at WWE, but doing a bio on Steve Austin. Well, that's interesting because who put that bio out? Was it a WWE production? Okay, anyway, juror 216 says there's a new juror, different juror from the WWE one. I'm 38. I live in the Bronx. I work for the MTA. I think that's the Metropolitan Transit Authority. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. This is like the trains system, the public transport. My wife works in Memorial Sloan in the skin cancer department. I have kids, ages 2, 10, and 12. I get my news from YouTube. Oh, Agnifilo gonna say, get rid of this one. I read Men's Health, hip hop, reggaeton. Is it tone or tune? And oh God, y'all gonna have to help me with this one too. Bachata, bachata, and salsa. I learned how to salsa one time. It was at law school. They taught us in the courtyard. Okay, so this person lives in the Bronx, works for I think the Transit Authority. Wife works for like some type of medical, like hospital type thing in the skin cancer department. Has kids ages 2, 10, and 12, so young kids. Get news from YouTube. Second person today who has said that. Bachata, bachata, bachata. Oh, I said it. Slay. Thank you, Nakia. Okay, see y'all, I can get it for sure. Okay. Sometimes some words are still just hard. Christine said these jury picks are absolutely crazy. I'm over here just giggling and then in awe with the responses. It is funny. It is a rhythm from the Dominican Republic. I have been to the Dominican Republic and I liked it there. And some of the people in the little square looked like they could be literally brothers or cousins with my pawpaw. Okay. They look over there in Dominican Republic. Some people look exactly like Cajun French people. If you know, then you know. I did not know this too, y'all. I'll reveal my ignorance. I will reveal my ignorance. Did you know that Haiti and Dominican Republic are like share a border? I did not know that till I went there, but I loved the Dominican Republic. I will certainly be going back. I loved it. I loved the people. I loved the food. I loved the weather. I loved the scenery. I loved that people looked like they could be my papa's cousins. I loved it. I did. I loved it. Let me see. Let's see if we have any more tweets. They're in the group questioning part right now. Like puts me all the way up to the top. Okay, no, that's the most recent one. Let's go back to his like main page thing. 9 seconds. We have another juror. This is juror number 217. So the next one. So we're not on works for the MTA wife at the Sloan skin cancer no more. We're at a new juror, 217. Says I was at a Jewish school for the blind. I have no children. I watch CBS and ABC. I like classical music. Okay, moving on. Juror 184. I'm 39. I live in the Bronx with my brother. I work for Jewish Child Care Association. No kids. I get my news from YouTube. Third person today that said they got their news from YouTube. But a lot of news is on YouTube. Like this is not news. What you're watching right now, they're not news. I mean, this is newsworthy, but I'm not giving you facts, right? I'm reading tweets from inside the court. I'm not reporting on this as if, I know for sure it's what's going on. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I believe, right? But like, there's like, NBC on YouTube, CNN on YouTube. There's even like these quasi sort of independent, but sort of news like The Hill or, the Daily, whatever Ben Shapiro's thing is. It's like quasi news, like opinion news, opinion. And then there's just like straight up commentary, which I would say that's what this channel is, at least now. Gets the news from YouTube though. Sports on FS1 and likes Afrobeat music. Me too. I love that. It just gets right in your head. The little doom, 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 that sound. I love it. Okay. I don't know why they're asking about Jewish stuff or if this may be just coincidence, because we had two jurors that were very far apart in number. Both talk about Jewish stuff. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the religion affiliation. I do remember there being some type of question about religious affiliation in the questionnaire. Like, do you attend a congregation or something? I know someone answered yesterday that they went to church, a Catholic congregation, mass, I should say. They call it mass. I think the Catholics call that mass. Okay, so juror 217 and juror 184, which are like far apart. One of them saying I was at a Jewish school for the blind, don't have any kids. And one of them said I work for the Jewish Child Care Association, also no kids. I get my news from YouTube and the sports from FS1, and I like Afrobeat music. Interesting. 17 seconds ago, we have another tweet. Juror 183 says, oh, they live with their wife. She was at Con Ed. We have no children. I completed one course at Temple University. I shop on Amazon. I watch The Housewives and Basketball Wives slay. This is a reality TV person. I watch The Housewives and Basketball Wives. Is Brittany Renner on Basketball Wives? I think she is. House music and some gospel. Okay, slay. Take shackles off my feet so I can. That's the one that always comes to my mind. I don't know why. Like, to me, Kurt Franklin and Mary are like stuck in my mind as like the representatives of gospel music. And what were the Winans? CeCe Winans, her too. I mean, that's gospel music to me. Okay. Juror 163 said, I live in the Bronx and I work in a hospital. Okay, so interesting. Let's see if anything else has been tweeted. What's Con Ed? Young Turks News. Yeah, that's one. Yes, she is. Yeah, you can. Someone said you can actually find nonpartisan. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, she's on Basketball Wives, and Kevin Gates not a basketball player, right? I mean, I thought he was like a musical. Honestly, you have taste. Thanks so much. I knew Hulk Hogan when he was Terry Bollea. He was my brother's friend. He went to USF. We went to USF together until he dropped to join wrestling. That's wild. It's our light company. Oh, Con Ed is the light company? Oh, no. Okay, let's see if there's anything new. Yeah, that's the most recent one, the Con Ed. These tweets are getting freaking views, y'all. Look, like, that one has 4.9 thousand views, 4.2, and these were like an hour ago. People are very interested in this case. Okay, so that was the most recent tweet about 2 minutes ago. We got another tweet 5 seconds ago. Juror number 255. I'm 87. Let this person go home. I'm retired. I hope so. I work for Navy Ship Repair in San Diego. My daughter worked at United Healthcare. Okay, so this person should not be a juror for the Luigi Mangione trial. Another's with Molson daughter. Okay, so another one of the daughters is with Molson Coors. Is that a... Oh my God. This person is so linked into the PR world. Look at this. 87 years old. First of all, listen, I don't think you can exclude a juror based on age. But like, can you imagine being 87 years old and having to trek to this courthouse every day for months and sit through all of this, and you're going to have to watch all this, and I feel like I respect my elders too much to make them sit through that. They should be excused. But again, you can't do that. You can't do that based on age. I live in Manhattan alone. I am retired. I used to work for the Navy Ship Repair in San Diego. My daughter worked at United Healthcare. Another worked at Molson Coors. I don't know if that's like a beer company. And then I have another daughter here at Condé Nast, which is a huge broadcast company. Like, they own like publications with my grandchildren. That's why I'm here. So they're here, I guess, living they're living in New York because one of the daughters has a Condé Nast job and gets their news from Morning Joe. That is the most recent tweet that we do have. The Winans are classic, right? Yes. Let's see. Selected at random. It was a numbers game. It's 100. There were some hits. The neighborhood I grew up in was mixed. They have age limit for jurors in Minnesota. 70 or something. I worked for owner of Condé Nast. Sat in the New York offices. That is very high up. You worked for the owner. They're trying to put him in a conservatorship yet. You know, they put one on Sumner Redstone, the one who established Viacom, NBC. They put him in a conservatorship. And a lot of the lawyers were the same lawyers involved in Britney's case. Monson's used to be a Canadian beer. I used to heart it. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Seriously, 87. He should be retired from jury duty. Seriously. Consolidated Edison is an electricity company. Thanks so much. Moni So NYC. Isn't that right? My dad was in charge of all naval ship repairs. Wow, we have a lot of people in this chat who have on-point experiences. FYI, my dad was in charge of all naval ship repairs at Subship San Diego until he retired, currently age 75. He was always chosen as the jury foreman and as a federal grand juror because of Navy ties. Well, that'll be interesting to follow along. Y'all remind me where this comment is and who left it because it's so hard to keep up. Patricia said, oh my God, I'm so behind. I'm literally watching this in pieces. You're going to have to go back and watch it from the beginning in order. Let's see if there's a new tweet. One minute ago, yes. Somebody's 57 years old. This would be juror number 230. Lives in Westchester, New York. I'm a manufacturing architect. My wife is a data scientist for Alliant Data Service. What is Alliant? Sounds familiar. I've heard of Alliance. I don't know Alliant. Look that up. I read The Athletic and stream. Oh, meaning like I stream my shows. Severance. Yes, like I love Severance. That was a good show. I'm sad that no new seasons came out yet or whatever. I want to watch it more. And sports since the Mets became good again. Rock, alternative with my younger son, country. I'm pleased and surprised at the amount of country music fans on the jury pool or in the jury pool so far. Yeah, okay. This person listens to rock, alternative, and country. 57. I mean, that kind of actually tracks because that would be right in my dad's age range group. I think he would be about 55 or so today. And he liked that music. He liked rock, alternative rock, and he liked country. And that was like his, main two that he liked. Okay, 19 seconds ago, another tweet. Juror 240 is 45 years old. Lives in Manhattan with wife and daughter, a pilot for American Airlines. I have a bachelor's in construction management. I use YouTube, Reddit. The bots are on the loose. Y'all make sure you are subscribed to BJ Investigates because I have a hard-hitting investigation coming very soon about that unauthorized AI bot experiment, not experience, experiment. He also watches Disney Plus, he or she, photos. I still fly, instruct. I don't know what AOPA is. Manhattan Fight Club. Oh my Lord. What is that? Okay, so lives in Manhattan, wife and daughter, pilot for American Airlines. Is this the same pilot with American Airlines from earlier? I use YouTube, Reddit, Disney Plus. Photos? I don't know what that means. I still fly and instruct. I don't know what AOPA is. Manhattan Fight Club. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see. Anything else? That was only 1 minute ago. Might not be another tweet yet. No. That's the most recent one. Welcome to memberships, Jessa, and welcome to memberships, DIDDY. Shout out to you. Shout out to y'all. Happy to be useful, Juliana said. Reddit is the heart of conspiracies and bots. You don't know who's on there. I guess this could be true about every place, but at least if you're on someone's YouTube, if you're on someone's Instagram, like there's the ability to delete stuff. I mean, who knows what in the hell these Reddit mods are doing? I mean, they don't even always fairly apply those stupid rules. You don't, yeah, exactly. I mean, I thought the first rule of Fight Club, you don't talk about it. They're in here talking about it. Let's see if there's anything new, any new tweet. Yes. Another new tweet. Okay. Juror number 247 is 40 years old, lives in Manhattan, and works at Weill Cornell. So the Weill Cornell is where Wendy Williams allegedly got one of those capacity declaration test things done, or was diagnosed with something over there. This juror, 247, 40 years old, said his wife is an artist. We do not have any children. My expertise is oncology. This is a cancer doctor at the Weill Cornell Medical Center. I read the New Yorker. Shout out to Ronan Farrow. Is that? Yeah, that's him, right? Yeah, New Yorker. I watch HBO. Well, maybe they saw Fall of Diddy. This person likes rock music. He surfs, he bikes, he hikes. They sound fun. Okay, judge says, let me see the lawyers at the sidebar. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. The judge just, 1 minute, 2 minutes ago, called up the lawyers to the sidebar. Okay, why did he do that? I do not know. I do not know why he did that, but this person is a cancer doctor, specialty oncology, work at the Weill Cornell Medical Center, and bikes, hikes, surfs, watches HBO. Okay, this is important because HBO is right up at the center of all of this, because one of those prospective jurors was apparently working at HBO on photo stills. There's only 5 of those people at all of HBO. This person said that they worked on a few different shows. He worked on White Lotus, something else I don't remember off the top of my head. But the judge, right after the I watch HBO, is like, can I see the lawyers at the sidebar? Now, sidebar is like literally they just walk up to the side of the judge's bench or whatever, you know, the thing that's like up. They walk up to it, and then the lawyers are. So the judge just asked, can you please, both lawyers, we need to talk. So what's going on? Okay, that was 3 minutes ago. So we'll see. We'll see how long that takes them. Faye Fain says they're going to keep him. Gina was on Tasha K saying he abused her. There it is. I worked at the New Yorker. What's next? Paramount Pictures, then Greater. What's next? Paramount Pictures, then Greater Harlem Chamber. Did you ever work on Did you ever work on any MTV stuff? Did you ever work on any Jackass movies? Did you ever work on anything with Johnny Knoxville? I have so many questions. Everything, it really is connected. So true. Probably for saying HBO. That's kind of what I thought too, Renee. I don't know. Because it is like also 5:05. Maybe they're just about to wind it down for the day. Whisper Ledbetter said, I'm catching up, but I'm saying it. Juror 160 is a star. I don't know which one that is. I don't even remember anymore. I'm gonna make me a little cheat sheet. My mom wasn't even in here today. HBO was good. What was good? Or White Lotus was good. I believe they pull the address from voter registrations and tax returns. Don't know the fact. I've heard if you don't have either of those, you don't get called in, Juliana said. I don't know. Let's see if anything new has been tweeted. The last thing that happened was the judge called up both lawyers to the sidebar after it was said that somebody liked HBO, watched HBO. What could the judge have called them up to the sidebar for? Your guess is truly as good as mine. I don't know. And I also wonder if like you can actually hear in the courtroom what they're saying at sidebar, but maybe Inner City Press not tweeting it because, you know, obvious reasons. Sorry, I just had to do some administrative things. Okay. So yes, like I said, most recent thing that happened, they're talking to the judge, like I guess as we speak. The lawyers are talking to the judge. This is local time, 5:07 p.m. I don't know what the judge is talking to them about. I really am hoping that we find out to some extent. CNN, HBO, Warner Brothers are linked. Good to know. Good to know. That was so cute. Sounding like a real stan, BJ. I don't know who, Professor Patty, who. Did you work with BAM? I be on everything. Did you work with BAM? That's right. Chica, keep your foot in the neck. Yeah, I mean, depends what you mean work with BAM, but I did start, lead, and successfully spearhead the free BAM movement. I did, raise awareness that he was in a conservatorship, and eventually he did, say that he was being held against his will, and he thanked me for it. So if that's what you mean by working with BAM, yes. But I never actually represented him as a lawyer or anything like that. I never gave him legal advice or anything like that. I have a feeling the judge felt that this was going to get done in 2 days with jury selection so they could do pre-trial stuff. I kind of feel like that too, even though the judge did say we're trying to do it in 3 days. I don't know why my brain read jury duty, like he would be on trial for that. Oh. Just want to say thank you for your great coverage. You're my go-to. You are welcome. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything back from the sidebar yet? No. That is the most recent tweet still. So yeah, I mean, what are y'all's thoughts? Just want to say thank you. I enjoyed having layers and untold accounts. Also, Danielle Smith, editor. So that he would see her in a trunk. Oh, yes, Vibe magazine, right? Yeah, Danielle Smith, Vibe magazine, right? And then she had to take the Vibe magazine outside and with bodyguards, sneak out the building because Diddy showed up with goons with him. You're welcome, Angela. Angela says this is great coverage. Yeah, Danielle with a Y. Yeah. EHC Bunny says, is Diddy in court today? I think he is in court today, but it hasn't really been explicitly stated, so I do not know. Oh my gosh, this is crazy life. As Shonda said, side note, BJ, I started watching you my last 2 semesters of college, and now I'm a teacher. Congratulations to you, Shonda. We really need good teachers out here because the brain rot has really gotten to the Gen Alphas and the last of the Gen Zs. It is so sad. They do not know how to do anything. I feel so bad for them. And I'm so thankful that there's good teachers out here still. Thank God. They may have to lower their standards about some things, like the video being seen in different networks like HBO and TMZ being watched. Totally. Thanks so much, Crystal Hiker. Mom said for your Diddy trial snack funds. You are amazing. Thanks so much. I'll have to get coffee a lot. Thank you for that $1.99 super chat. Let's see if we've gotten any update from the sidebar. 7 seconds. Yes. The judge said, jurors, you are finished for the day. Do not read. Do not read about the case or post anything about it. Thank you. The feds say we propose not to bring back 5 jurors. Tina Garrigo says Diddy's lawyers said we agree on 3 of them, 282, 289, and 304. So I think these 3 are definitely not getting brought back. And Agnifilo says we propose strikes 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't know what that means. Anybody know what that means? You can let me know. Dirt Road said, I just found you. Love your enthusiasm. Thanks so much. Make sure you hit that subscribe. She was so scared she didn't even remember. Yeah, she said that on the downfall of Diddy or the fall of Diddy or whatever. How are they going to watch Disney all night? He said, Empath said, watch the back of your eyelids. Are people saying Diddy and Epstein are connected through T? I don't know. Some people are. To any newcomers, make sure you're subscribed to BJ Investigates. Yes, make sure you're subscribed. Okay. I don't know what this means. We propose strikes 1, 2, 1, 2. What's that mean? The jurors got dismissed for the day, but they're still in the courtroom. They're still talking. The assistant U.S. attorney said, we propose to not bring back 5 more jurors. Diddy's lawyer said, that's fine. We agree on 3 of them. 282-289-304. Agnifilo, we propose strikes 1-2-1-2. Somebody tell me what that means. I don't get it. Meg said, ironic, I started watching my last 2 semesters of college as well. Thank you, BJ. I'm about to hop off. Yep. Y'all come in and check out as you need to. Come back and watch the rest whenever you need to. We'll watch if his Crystal, Crystal asks, will each of his 8 okay, Professor Patty, I'll take you up on that if we ever do meet. Says, oh, my eyes are not brown though, they are green. Will each of his 8 or more attorneys get to question every single one of the witnesses? How does that work? Usually it's going to be like one lawyer on direct and 1 lawyer on cross, I'm pretty sure. I do think Fane said, I don't know, but I felt like jurors should have been sequestered. What do you think? I think they kind of were sequestered. They took all the jurors, and not really, but kind of. They took them all and put them in a room down the hall, and then they were like, don't talk to each other about the specific case. I think there were people in the room with them, and then they got called just to this courtroom area just to answer their questions. So I think they were kind of sequestered. I don't think they were all asked questions in front of each other. Imagine you get picked and you really want to do it and you're one of the 3. Seriously. Not me running to see which ones they're trying to strike now. Exactly. Great channel. Thank you. Thank you, Lindy, for the £5 super chat. Shout out to you. You are a welcome. Clutch the pearls. Anything is possible since Cat Williams Pandora box, somebody said. Let's see. Anything new? The last thing that happened, they were kind of going back and forth over. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here we are. They made some type of proposition about how to do the strikes 1-2-1-2. I don't know what that is. There are at least 3 jurors who are not coming back. It's 5 total. That the assistant U.S. attorney had issues with. I'm imagining one of them is the person who they said didn't have English proficiency. Shout out to Inner City Press. Let me put his Twitter here in the live chat too, so that if y'all want to go check out his Twitter, his other coverage, etc., even just go by there and show him some love, show him some appreciation. They totally took, yeah, no, they look dark because I don't have, it's kind of dark in my room because just having those bright lights in my face all day, it stresses me out and it overstimulates me. Pretty messed up at both cases. Maybe they were just competition each other. I mean, I really don't know. Let's see if Matthew Russell Lee is going to go live. Make sure though, y'all, that you check out also, was it infamous Sylvia? Breaking, Smokey Robinson charged with 4 SA cases. Wait, hold on, Brianna. Brianna Gonzalez said, Smokey Robinson charged. Is it criminal? Robinson, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Charged with SA? Is it civil or is it criminal? Oh, it's a civil. So not a charge. It's an allegation. Smokey Robinson accused of SA. R word. Oh my word. 4 women filed it. Oh my word. Oh my God. Facing accusations. It was filed in LA today. Accused of S battery, false imprisonment, gender violence, willful, wanton, malicious. Jane Doe. His wife knew about it. Oh, this is wild. Thanks for letting me know, Brianna. That is crazy. Okay, let's see if Inner City Press. Let's give me a little video. Court adjourned. If you like the coverage, you can support Matthew Russell Lee right here at any of these links. He's got PayPal, a Venmo, a Buy Me a Coffee. He's got extras on Matthew Russell Lee. Got it. Matthew Russell Lee. I think you can go there, just click it, Substack with the documents. He's got a Patreon with documents, so y'all can go and support him over there. Sorry, not charged. Yeah, 4 of his maids. Oh my word. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat and for that clarification, Brianna. I wonder if Rabbit will be covering that. I do know Rabbit Rabbit from Down the Rabbit Hole News, she has been going live a little bit before me. I think what I'm going to do, I don't know, I reserve the right to change my mind, but if y'all are planning on following me for this trial coverage, I think what I'm going to do, just because I hate sitting here and like refreshing, and it's like, oh, waiting for another tweet. I think I'm going to start my coverage kind of later in the day, sort of like how I did today. So it looks like Rabbit from Down the Rabbit Hole News is starting her coverage earlier in the day. So you could actually seemingly maybe catch, I do know we are overlapping a little bit, but if y'all are just like wanting some Diddy coverage before I'm on, if I do decide to start going live only, after it's started, I don't want to be here 9 o'clock each day. Now it may be we have to, it may be stuff happening so fast. We are going to, I'm reading some of y'all's comments. We're going to be probably starting like at least a couple hours after it actually starts, just because I do want to like not be sitting here refreshing all day. Like, oh, wait for another tweet. I want to kind of like, do like we did today, where I allow it to kind of build a little bit first. Dawn wants to know if I can tell y'all the profiles of the jurors they chose. I really can't, because I was doing this live. So I am going to have to get it all sorted out before I could tell you with any certainty. Nathan said, in case you didn't already feel special, green is the rarest eye color. Only 2% of the world's population has them, and the good Lord chose us. Amen. There it is, Nathan. I did read the other day that green is actually just because you have brown pigment and blue pigment in your eye. Like if you actually look very close, like nothing's actually green. It's all just brown or blue. But that isn't actually true. Like there's definitely like pockets of green, but I do like that like theory, and it does make sense because my mom's eyes were brown, my dad's were blue. That's what I did today. Somebody said, I like the way you did it today. Crystal said today was great. Smokey, you dirty dog. Well, innocent till proven, but yeah. Zoe said, I love Rabbit. As long as you're here to make it all make sense, I love your channel. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. It's all coming out now. It's so true. It is so true. Love green eyes. Love green eyes. Yup. Hazel green, actually. Yup. We got the 2%ers in here. When infamous Sylvia gets back to New York City, she will go live outside the courtroom every morning, and she is nosy, CMT said. That's why we love her. Yes. Did the tweets have juror numbers? Some of them, yes. Some of them, no. It's giving Terminator and the Maid. Oh, Lord, Smokey was gyrating on a TV the other day. Oh, God. Been away for 40 minutes. What did I miss? The court is over now. Love how you broke it down today. Empath's Rhapsody said, I'd be scared to give up all my personal information in front of a guy like Diddy. Well, they are allowed to answer the questions quietly, like privately, but yeah, I think Diddy still ends up getting to read it. Mims also does great. Yes, I love Mims. He's also my cousin from Louisiana. I mean, like, we didn't do a genetics test or anything, but I just assume because, like, I just feel like it's a good vibe, and he's, like, got Louisiana connections. So it's like, that's probably my cousin. Let's be honest. Oh, doesn't he have green eyes too? Or Hazel? I don't remember. It doesn't take much to see there is a huge ST world out there. It's the truth. More than most want to acknowledge. It's so true. We got Hazel eyes in the chats. Green eye peeps unite. There's not a lot of us, y'all. I think we just got to go ahead and make friends with other eye colors. We got a lot of green in here. I have a theory that green eye people are more psychic, but I mean, who knows? Oh my God, Smokey's arthritic gyrations are a meme now. Today's coverage was phenomenal. Watching while I work. Thank you so much, Zoe. Thought Hazel was the rarest one. Could be. I never ran any studies or anything. That's just what I think. It's like a foot in both worlds. Like it's a little air, it's a little earth, it's a little water. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just my theory. I don't know. I don't know anything. Let's see what else Intercity Press got going on in here. He may go live as well. I guess I'll call it a day. If you enjoyed this coverage, I would appreciate if y'all could go and donate to the legal fund. I'm not going to say I'm stressed out a little bit about the money aspect of things, but I do owe a lot of money because of these lunatic freaks. And I really would appreciate any help that y'all could give with the legal fund. I mean, $1, $5, anything that you could, that would be very, 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 very helpful. It is very stressful to not have the money I need to pay my lawyers. Thanks so much. Tiffany said she donated. I really do not like not me adjusting my brightness. I know, because my screen gets darker and brighter because it's so close to my face, and I switched the screens. Loved it. Love this channel. I'm going to call it a day on this one, y'all. It looks like we are going to be back here tomorrow. So probably come on around at the same time, maybe even a little bit later. We'll see. We will see. That's all I really have for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Thank you very much to everyone who donated. And we're going to try and get through the drama together. Facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.